The last time that we did a player ranking episode was our yearly Christmas show, in which we stop about a month and a half into the season on December, and we rank the top 50 players in the NBA.
30.
Oops. We did it this year. About a week later, it was horrible. I hated every single thing I did. It aged terribly because a lot of things change real fast. So today, we have a little bit of a chance for redemption to right the wrongs we did when we had to react after a month sample size. Now we got about 5 months. We're going to rank the top 25 players that are 25 years old or younger.
And we're going to do the same thing. We're also going to make a list. And maybe next week, we might be like, dang, that was kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie.
But see, at that point, like, we do it
at that point, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it happens in December, it's like, all right, like, we've only seen 20 games. You've seen enough. Now it's just your beliefs were wrong.
Yeah. Right. So now we have more of a sample size that about 65 games in the season. You know who these players are. There's no more room. Not a lot's going to change. So yeah, man. And it's really interesting because this is in the 3 years we've done this. This is by far the most stacked under 25 list we've had.
Bro, don't they have like 16, 17, maybe 18-ish like all-star level players or players at least you can see like making an all-star game?
We do.
Total.
We have 18, I think. And that's nice because that allows us to right a lot of those wrongs from the earlier list because 18, these guys are like damn near top 30 players. So we should get a good idea of how we all feel about the next up-and-coming group of people that are probably going to define the next 5 years of basketball.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be interesting. There's so many players, few players specifically, who are so hard to rank.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them made the top 30 list, and now we're like, bro, I don't know how strongly I feel about them because of circumstances, health, team sucks, whatever it might be. It's going to be a good one, though.
Yeah. Lots of flags we planted in the ground for certain agendas we have. And yeah, man, let's jump into it.
Let's go.
The cranium is crazy. Oh my god.
I mean, I really don't know what to say.
Crayon eaters rejoice.
Okay, so let's start this off by trying to do something that we fail at every single time we do a list. Let's get to a common agreement, the ground rules of what we're ranking.
Well, it's too late. The list is already made. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I guess I'm trying to say let's communicate to the people what we're ranking and how we're going about this. To me, I'll speak for myself only because apparently we never have an agreement on this. I'm ranking who you are today. No projection whatsoever. If there's injuries or there's context surrounding your team that like you're not in a position to succeed, you would obviously be better if you didn't get hurt and so forth. I'm going to account for that because I don't think that's projecting you would get better. It's just accounting for things that are outside of your control. Mm-hmm. But in terms of projection and like we'll think he'll be better 2 years from now, 3 years from now, zero of that.
My list is probably closer to yours because that's how I'm feeling as well. Projection, maybe about 5% of my list is projection. And it was like a tiebreaker for me where if something was like truly, truly close and I did not know where to go, then I would use that projection and be like, all right, like your upside is probably still a little bit higher. Yeah. But for the most part, if I think that you can help me win right now, that's where I rank you on the list.
For me, when it comes to projection, I only used it if you've been hurt and I'm assuming you're going to be better. I'm assuming you're going to find some level of consistency. But also, there's on the other end of things, I'm not sure how good you're going to be in the next not 30 games, but in the next 20, 15 games because you've been hurt so long and I need just more proof in the pudding.
Okay.
So not that much pressure for me this episode.
Okay. Fair enough.
For now.
I don't believe you. I'll say that.
I was just about to say that. I call cap. I call cap.
Bullshit. King of projection. I think you do it inherently, not even on purpose. But okay, so we understand where we're all coming from. Let's jump into this list.
Let's go.
As you guys know, we do this in blocks of 5 where we go, since now today's top 25 instead of top 30, we're going to go 21 through 25 and so forth. We're going to take turns revealing our section by section. We're going to start this list with me, 21 through 25. Here is my initial names for this list. 25, I have Dyson Daniels. 24, Toumani Camara. 23, Jalen Suggs. 22, Trey Murphy III. 21, Denny Avdia.
Okay. This makes sense. This makes sense.
We call this tier the lockdown defenders that don't do a whole lot offensively, except for Jalen Suggs, I think has some offensive skills to his game. But this is the lockdown defender tier. Clearly.
I mean, even Trey Murphy.
And then Trey Murphy, he's not
sticks out like a mug.
He's more offensive, but this is the role player tier, I guess. Mm-hmm. People that they're on the top 25, so they have a ceiling. We think they're like elite role players, But once we get to next year, we're gonna be talking like all-star level guys. So this
Wow.
is the part where I feel you could put different names in here, and I wouldn't be mad at you.
Winners, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
These are guys where like glue guys. You have to have them on your team. Some version of these players has to be on your team if you want to win at a high level, and they all do things that do that. So right now, nobody sticks out. I guess my question to you is, why do you have Denny at the top of this tier?
Motherfucker's amazing. I don't know. He's so good. He is not a star. I don't think he'll ever be a star.
Yeah.
But one, he's a great defender, which all these guys are. You have to be that when you're not an offensive like engine star. Fantastic secondary. You know what he is? He is diet Franz Wagner. He's Franz Wagner with like 12% less of a scoring bag. His secondary passing, really on-ball passing, he's fantastic at making pick and roll reads and keeping the ball moving in transition. Just a very well-rounded passer.
Yeah.
Can attack the paint. Very effective driver. Just a extremely good secondary ball handler that as soon as they get a star guard, as soon as, I don't know, Scoot Henderson makes the leap, Shaden Sharp, they draft Dylan Harper, whoever it may be, Denny will be the perfect guy to pair with him.
Okay, yeah, I like where you have Denny. He's amazing when it comes. He's so all around. He's an all around like Swiss Army knife when it comes to the ability to do basically everything on the court. So especially some special abilities that I like about him that stick out. And what makes me so intrigued by him, even dating back to when he was in Washington, is his ability to just like push the fucking pace and get shit going and like masquerade as a point guard at times and just make simple reads. Like the things that he's able to do, it feels like it's him by nature, and it's just certain skills that aren't developed. You know, it's just what he is.
He's the best two-way player on this list, I think. Of these role players, and I think there's two more spots above this before we get to stars that are also role players, he's a much better defender than Trey Murphy, I think. Well, maybe not much, but
I
he's a
think
better defender.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, whatever. It's hard to gauge Trey Murphy's defense when they're playing next to the worst defensive structure in the league this year and they have a terrible defense because of injuries. So, however you feel about that, but he's also just way better offensively than Kamara and Dyson Daniels. And Suggs, I guess they're probably similar two-way players, but I feel a little bit better about Denny's offense.
Yeah, I feel better about Denny's offense too. It feels more developed. Why do you have Dyson Daniels so low? I think he's better than Kamara.
I don't.
With Jalen Suggs, it's like very debatable, but I think he's better than Kamara. Why do you think he's
Jalen
not
Suggs is a lot better offensively right now. I think he's made strides. The last 12 games or so, especially with Trey dealing with injuries, he's like taking small ball strides. But Suggs early in the year made a real shooting leap. Really last year,
I can't
started.
compare.
Shooting is a big difference. Now Suggs for the season, he's out. He finished like 34%. We're gonna ignore that. That got fucking tanked because he was playing without Franz, without Paolo Banchero.
Yeah.
He was out the number one option trying to make shit happen.
With Jet Howard, bro.
With Jet Howard. The shot quality was abysmal. That tanked his averages. But early in the year, when he was playing that secondary role, he really developed into like a legit. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think maybe
He's a player who I have like projection for because it's like I can't blame you too hard, bro.
Yeah,
because
low key.
you were hurt.
Now I'm thinking about it, he should maybe be above Denny because I feel like they're very similar. And he's a better defender than Denny. So if I could change it now, I might put him at 21 aside, other two down.
But what about Tumani Kamara though? I love Dyson Daniels. I love Tumani Kamara also. I shit on him the most back when he was a part of the Damian Lillard trade, bro.
Tumani Kamara is the most versatile defender on this list.
He's hellacious.
That man defends 1 through 5 truly, which is so rare. He can defend 5s, he can defend 3s, he can defend 1s. He is amazing. Thinking Basketball is a great video where he compared him defensively to modern day Scottie Pippen with that versatility. And I don't think he's gassing it. Obviously, offensively, we're never going to say anything like that.
Yeah.
But defensively, in the terms of like the type of guys he can defend, he's insane.
If you think the defense is that sizable, okay, cool. But I think Dyson Daniels and the offense that he's been providing, the rim pressure specifically, he loves to get to his floater. And also, like, people forget that this dude, he's initially a point guard. He's a secondary playmaker now, and that's what he's best at this year or just in general in his career, especially alongside Trae Young. But I think if he continues to scale that offensive presence, he's going to surge up in this list a little bit.
And I get it. You have Hawks tax, some Hawks bias here that you're going to put him higher. I respect it.
No.
It's like 5%.
It's a little bit.
It's like 5%.
Maybe like 2%.
It's not crazy. If you're going to have a Hawks hill you want to die on, this is a good
no
one.
taxes, buddy.
We got some Hawks tariffs in the building. Yeah, I'm not mad at you putting Dyson higher. I like his slashing a lot. The handle is developing, so needs some development in terms of like in the second playing off of Trae Young, his handle's good enough. In minutes where you don't want Trae Young, when Trae Young's on the court, you want him to be the second backup point guard. I want to see the handle continue to develop, and it's really the only difference is the off-ball shooting. Is the only thing.
I can't argue that. That's where he has his lapses.
Jack on Project 94 likes to tell me he thinks he has like a Derek White ceiling. And I'm like, I understand why you're saying that, and I think it's not crazy like his caliber of player.
Yeah.
But the quick trigger nature of Derek White's threes that makes him so valuable on and off ball.
Incomparable.
Dyson has the slowest jumper in the world. It's just like never gonna be that smooth.
He's like,
And especially like if you're gonna be in this range of player and like in that specific role, you do need that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in general, a common theme of this list, I value playing off ball and being able to play next to other players incredibly. Like that's going to be a big recurring thing when we talk about the stars up top, who I think scales next to other good players. When you're talking about role players, that's like the most important thing. You're not going to want Dyson Daniels leading offense. So his ability to be really, really good off ball, like kind of decides his ceiling, I think.
okay, yeah. There's a very real world. I'm sure we can all agree where he jumps up in this a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, it's not crazy. I mean, I'm not going to argue you down on Dyson Daniels versus Denny.
Understand. His real world is in 5 minutes. When his, when
No,
his
no,
list
no, no.
gets released.
10
that's
minutes.
What that means.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's go through this bottom 5 pretty quick. Next up, we have Mo. Who was your bottom 5?
Okay, bottom 5s. I have Jalen Suggs at 25, Dyson Daniels 24,
One spot. Lovely.
23, Tumani Kamara, 22,
You
Deni
motherfucker.
Avdija,
You
and then
Kamara
20
above Daniels.
and then 21, I have Amen Thompson.
Okay.
Seeing Amen Thompson this low is so weird, but
I mean,
I just feel strongly about
It's just because the stretch that he had, like in the middle of the season,
Yeah.
like that, seeing that and seeing what his ceiling could be, and seeing the Rockets like thrive, everybody was all in on Amen, and so now like you've kind of seen just a little bit of regression from him, and so it's like, dang, like you were playing at this crazy level, but then you get brought back down to earth. And,
Yeah.
and you're like, yes, he still has a lot of development that needs to happen.
still, getting back down to earth, got pulled up. His last 10 games, 15 points, 5.5 assists, 9.9 rebounds, 59% true shooting. He's still kicking ass.
The ceiling that he was showing was
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, they're like, this is 100% going to be an all-star. This is
Yeah.
going to be like an all-NBA guy.
15, 5, and 10 is still pretty dope, so I'm okay with it.
It's great. It may not be all-star, but like, well, I don't know. With his defense, it's crazy. But
Yeah.
but you see what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I understand. Man, 55% free throw percentage in that time.
That's tough. Oh my God.
Before that, the first 50 games was 71%, so it's a weird cold stretch. But yeah, I mean, I have him in higher out of this tier, but like just barely, so I'm not mad at you for that. Other than that, I mean, we agree. You also have Tumani Kamara above Dyson Daniels, so I love the
The
conversation.
thing about Tumani Kamara that just like separates Dyson to me is just the shooting. Like you said, it's so much easier to envision someone like Tumani right now alongside another star player compared to someone like Dyson Daniels. Although they both are very capable of doing it. They're at least Dyson right now. He's proving he can do so. And the minute that Tumani has an opportunity to do so, he's gonna thrive. But right now, he's just more of a complete version of himself.
Yeah. And yeah, it's not a big difference. It's splitting hairs, but yeah, Kamara is a little bit more versatile.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
All right, well, we're clearly in alignment of the type of players that belong here. Move on to Donovan.
At 21, I have Trey Murphy.
Go the other way. People hate when we go this way.
My bad. At 25, I have Denny. At 24, I have Tumani. At 23, I have Amen. At 22, I have Dyson Daniels. At 21, I have Trey Murphy.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have Amen. You have Trey Murphy above Amen.
I think what Trey Murphy has shown,
Dyson above Amen.
yes.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Hammers. Okay.
I think so. I'll start with Trey. I think Trey's offense is amazing, and I think like in terms of everybody below him, his offense is clearly the best on this on this list or in this tier, and so I'm slanted obviously offensively, and so I'm gonna give him that, and obviously like he's no scrub defensively, so he's gonna be at 21. Dyson. I love him, man, and maybe this recent stretch in terms of like coming back down to earth, and like you saying his numbers is like he was so high that the fall may have seemed bigger than what it actually was, just because he was playing at such a crazy level.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that like Dyson Daniels, his defense and his playmaking, it's
pretty insane. Maybe I underplayed it. It's pretty insane.
is like that. Is like that.
Yeah.
And so like also for Dyson Daniels to like immediately step into this role with the Hawks and then thrive and give them that level of defense. Mind you, he was already he was in the NBA. You get to the Hawks and now everyone's like, oh my goodness, this is the Great Barrier Reef. He gets a nickname within 2 weeks. Like
that's tough.
You know, he was playing at an insane level, and I think both of them are all defense caliber players.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Dyson right now.
Yeah, he's a better defender. He's probably the best defender on here, but him or Kamara is debatable. I think Kamara's more versatile, but in terms of their role, like it's hard to compete with 3 steals per game this year. And I know some people like to push this like steal merchant dialogue.
So dumb.
And again, I'm describing some terminally online conversations when people debate the like legitness of Dyson Daniels' defense.
The ethics of steals.
Yeah, like some people were like, "Oh, he's just what's the word they use? An event creating merchant or something like that. Like he's only an event creator on defense. He's not actually good positionally, yada yada."
What does that mean?
I
bro?
think Dyson Daniels has a well-rounded defensive scheme. I don't think he's a steal merchant. What he means is like, you know how like Allen Iverson led the league in steals, but he wasn't necessarily a lockdown defender.
Yeah, or when Curry won it, or when
Yeah,
he
Curry
led
led
the
league in steals.
in his MVP.
A lot
in
of
2016 or
smart
whatever.
guards can lead the league in steals with the not play-by-play elite defenders, and some people are pushing that narrative with Dyson. I think he's a pretty great defender in most aspects.
I 110% agree. But what's so interesting to me about this is that I am clearly the highest on someone like Trey Murphy.
Yeah, how high do you have this guy? You don't mind this tier. Just listen, there's 18 All-Stars. So if you have him above 18, then you love Trey
I
Murphy.
think he's going to be an All-Star next year, 110%. I think right now.
I don't know about that. He's kind of slowed down as of late.
Has he? I mean,
That's that.
It's a
that's
stretch.
that projection kicking in.
I mean, I said
It's a
next
stretch.
year. He said next year.
That's that projection. We're in tier 1.
I think if this team, things have changed. I think he's one of the first players where I have like, okay, I see you. I see what you're doing. I see the context of your team, how ass it is. But then I also see your team for the first time in your career really prioritize you and put you at the top shelf in terms of we need him to cook. He is one of the top chefs.
Yeah,
So
your top
Zion,
shelf.
Back then,
1942.
Wait, what? I know nothing about that. But yeah, seeing him being prioritized and seeing some of the special qualities and traits that he has in his game, they move me.
No, he's
They
great.
moved me.
If you tell me next year he makes a star leap and belongs in top 15 on next year's list, I completely understand. I think his shot making has been ridiculous this year, and he's taken the reins of the touches he's been given, but it's not to the level where well, never mind. We'll get to it when we see who you put him above, because that's what we'll really discuss. Is
Yeah.
we all like him. I have a feeling you love him, which is fine. I love him too, but if you're speaking
But
like
you
you
know
have
why,
him much
but you know why.
higher, so we'll see.
No,
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay, listen. This is a tier that it's all fun and games. It's all great. We're all in enjoyment, loving these role players. No arguments here. Shit might get toxic real soon when we get to the star players who we have some takes on.
Let's
Right
go.
now, it's all hunky dory.
let's go.
Hunky dory.
Donovan, who is your 16 through 20?
Sengun.
At 20, I have Jalen Suggs. At 19, I have Jalen Johnson. At 18, I have Tyler Hero. 17, Tyrese Maxey. And at 16, I have Alperen Sengun.
Okay, so yeah, 18 is the cutoff where everybody above is either has made an all-star game or we think would have if he didn't get hurt. And so you think Tyler Hero is the worst all-star on this list?
Yes, I do.
This is hard because we were obviously not, especially you, were not high on Tyler Hero before this season.
Oh, 100%.
I think he's a little bit better than somebody on your list that we'll see when I reveal mine. Tyler Hero's passing is very underrated. He has had legitimately very good playmaking this year. I think he's averaging around 5 assists. And I think a large part of why this two big lineup they're doing right now, where they're putting Bam at the 4 full time and having Ware be the center next to him, I think a big reason that can work is Tyler Hero's passing has really developed. He's really good off ball, really good on ball, despite the shooting slump he's currently in. I like him a little bit more than I think you do, but only by like a spot or two.
Yeah, okay. I can see those things. I have no real qualms here. It's just very interesting to me to see someone like Sengun over Tyrese Maxey.
I think so.
Sengun's hard, man. Famously,
He's so hard
Sengun
to-
is so hard for all three of us to gauge.
16 through 18 it's a little bit challenging for me because all of them, like, I don't think that any one of these three can be like a number one type of player. I think Maxey has the highest ceiling of that, but even then we've seen him in this stretch without Embiid or with whatever the Sixers have gone through, and he can score, but he's not an amazing playmaker, and his scoring can be inefficient at times. So I have a couple questions about that. Kind of the same thing with Tyler Hero, where he's great and he's gone to a fantastic level. I still, and maybe I do right. Like maybe I am underrating his passing, but I see, and Tyler Hero's not small, but like I see very like offensive leaning guards.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, like you are having a great season, but in terms of you do have to be in a very specific situation for you to not only thrive and get yours, but also to have your skill set then contribute to winning. So that's why I have that. Sengun, and we talk all the time about big man being able to, needing to defend and anchor your defense and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I do think that having a big who can be a hub like that and who's passing can open up some other things. I do think that is kind of valuable. And so that's why, like, right now, I think I would put Sengun there. But it's not, it's very, very close in terms of those three.
Okay.
The Sengun thing, man, for the past 2 years of the show, Rockets fans have absolutely hated me because I never have anything good about Sengun to say. And it's not even because I think he's bad. It's just because the nature of comparison, I think he's worse than some of his contemporaries. And a large part of that last year was because I see a center who last year was not a good defender really at all and doesn't space the floor reliably. And I'm like, why the fuck would I want to build around that? That's just a difficult hole to build yourself out of defensively. And he's not making up for it with like amazing spacing. So I'm like, And this year he's been good defensively. He does have a really good situation where he's playing with nothing but elite defenders. So it's, context helps him. But all you're asking for a player like him is to be passable in that system, and he has been. He's been above passable positionally. He's very smart and made good defensive IQ and rotation leaps. He still like has a physical limitations. He's never going to be like amazing. He's never going to be a shot blocker and never going to be like super switchable. But he can hold his own. He's not. You get a switch on him and he's cooked. He can hold his own for sure. The problem is, in the year in which he made a defensive leap and answered that question, he forgot how to make fucking layups.
Yeah.
This man. Okay, if you can be a passable defender, but if you're not going to be above average and like super impactful, you can't have a 54% true shooting and shoot 64% at the rim as a center. It is a legitimate problem that his touch has been downright horrible this year. And he also doesn't shoot threes. His biggest skill is he can draw two on the ball and keep the ball moving and create actions and be a good passer, but he's not like a Jokic level passer. He's all about drawing attention and keeping it moving. I have extreme doubts about how that'll translate to a playoff setting.
Yeah, and because of that too, when it comes to how my view on Sengun, I think he's a good player. Obviously, he's like an all-star level player because he's this high on your list, and he literally also made the All-Star game this past year. But because of the limitations within his game and how much the touch has regressed, while also seeing the defense level up as it should, I have real concerns when it comes to how legitimate of a one, maybe even two option that he is.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever be the best player on like a championship team, which is fine. You don't have to be. That's like an extremely high bar to have. So I'm not holding him to that standard.
There's like 6 players in the world who can get that ceiling.
And as a secondary player, you don't, again, I really, really care about the scalability, like your ability to play off ball and have your game be able to get off next to players that are better than you and have complementary skill sets. If you're not a good spacer, you're not a lob threat, you're not a shot blocker, you're not a switchable big, that doesn't scream to me I'm going to thrive as a second and third option.
Do I like the fact that he has missed a lot of layups? Obviously not. Am I a little bit worried? Maybe you could say a little bit worried. Am I concerned long term that his touch is gone? No. And I think that between these 3 players, that's where a little bit of the projection comes in, because I think that I don't think that he's going to be in a layup slump for the rest of his career. I don't think that he's going to be this bad. And so I think seeing him take a cup, like one step forward defensively, and then assuming a little bit more positive regression from his layups, I like that version and I like that player, and that's why I'm putting him at 16.
Yeah, to make this archetype work, you have to have like extreme strengths, and for his body type not being an athletic finisher, to me it has to be shooting to have him have like the ceiling of being really high. And his career high in his second year was 36% from 3 for the year. Right now it's 25%. We just haven't seen a extended stretch where he has the confidence to really pull threes at a high level. That's the part that to me that'll really swing me into being a big Sengun guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, if he starts pulling threes and knocking them down, he's skyrocketing up this list.
Yeah,
I think like bottom half of the top 20. That's probably where he's going to be and move up and down over the next couple of years. Especially if he gets to where I think he can be as like a ceiling, it'll probably just be around 15 through 20, and he'll be
See, I'm not even really arguing your placement here. I'm more so talking to the Sengun fans that are inevitably going to be in the comments getting mad at us for not putting him top 10. Mm-hmm. That's why I think he's not sniffing like top 10.
Yeah, that was never going to happen.
I'm sorry.
Top 10 was crazy.
Shout out the Turks. I appreciate you guys. Don't love your star, but shout out the people. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move on to the next person. I think, Mo, you're next. Who you got?
Cool. So at 20, I got Tyler Hero. 19, Sengun. 18, I got Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren, 17, I got Jalen Johnson. And at 16, I have Trey Murphy.
So the thing is, you wrote this down, and
Don't even. You have to be doing this just to piss us off.
like you're aware it's like insane, right?
I love
I don't want to use the S word or the D word or the I word, but it is insane.
sexy. What's the D?
Nah,
The D
Dumb
word.
as fuck. That's what the D word is. What the hell? Listen, shout out Jalen Johnson. I think he should be 19. He should be the
Shout
best
out.
non-all-star on this list. If you think Trey Murphy is better at basketball today than Chet Holmgren, we need to check into a psychiatric ward.
So when it comes to I don't know how to. I'm gonna target this from a Trey Murphy standpoint.
Okay.
When it comes to like,
No,
you
no,
spoke
okay,
on
real
his
quick.
last
Can you
few
do Jalen
games.
Johnson first? My bad. I want to see that one first.
Oh, bro, he's been hooping. What are you talking about? Right before, so he had like 2 different injuries
Been
before he went out with his season-ending injury. For
sure. He's
So
great.
in that little stretch when he injured his right shoulder, I believe first, he was averaging like 28 and 5. His ability to be one of the best connectors in the NBA at that size, being a B+, A+ defender, just a player on both ends of the floor, is ultra valuable. His ability to continuously grow his game, whether it be, earlier in the season we see he's struggling mightily when it comes to his half-court offense and his bag, seeing that being developed, seeing him eventually grow into a 34-35% three-point shooter, seeing how well he moves the ball and how he can masquerade as a legitimate point guard at that big-ass frame moves me so much. And I think the proof is there. Now, me personally, believe it or not, I would have put him higher if he was able to stay healthy. He was on track. He was having real all-star conversations before he got hurt. Now, is that due to hella dudes getting injured? I don't give a damn. I'm not talking about right that now.
He might have been the fourth alternate.
But he was in those conversations, and
I
it
agree.
counts in my book.
He's certainly played at a level that was all-star conversation worthy. There was a point early in the season when we did a stream, and I was like, he might get my last spot. That changed by the time the all-star voting finally came around. I would have gave it to somebody else, but he had a point where he was in that conversation for sure. The Hawks were playing at the 5 seed. I fully understand that. Chet Holmgren is a top 3 rim protector in the NBA, probably on number 2 behind Victor Wembanyama. He averages like 3.2 blocks per 36 minutes right now. He's playing 26 minutes because he's coming back from injury, and they're doing some funky stuff, trying him out at power forward with Isaiah Hartenstein, really as an experiment. Mark Dagnall has pretty much said, we want to see if this is good or not.
Yeah.
It's not that great, I think, compared to when he's at center. So that slowed down his numbers a little bit post-injury. And obviously, just breaking your goddamn hip slows you down a little bit. His numbers are down a little bit, especially because 2 days ago he had the worst game of his career. But it's mostly, besides that terrible game, minutes. If you look at per 36, he's scoring at the exact same rate as last year and being even better defensively. We saw him make that leap before he got hurt that we all probably think is going to continue once he gets his feet under him again. I love Jalen Johnson. Don't make me say anything bad about him. What the fuck are you talking about, number 18?
Brother, when it comes to Jalen Johnson, I think his impact all around the court, when it comes to the defense, the creating, the scoring, I'm not going to say the shooting because obviously Chet Holmgren, he's one of the better shooters for his size.
Yeah.
Is
positionally.
all there. I think when it comes to the impact all around the court, you see the same level. When it
But-
comes to
but
He's a
defensive
DPOY
players-
level defender. What do you mean the same level?
Brother, another thing that I want to touch on when it comes to Trey, and
Okay.
when I said Trey, when it comes to Chet and also Jalen Johnson too, these two players could easily soar up higher if they had the ability to remain healthy. Chet Holmgren is injury prone like a motherfucker, and no one has these types of conversations about him just yet. Now,
he broke his hip. How are we gonna
brother,
give him
he
credit?
missed the entire first year of his career.
He missed the first year of his career because LeBron stepped on his foot and broke it.
Yes.
And then when somebody's injury prone, it's never because of broken bones. He doesn't have weak bones. He got unlucky twice because LeBron stepped on his foot and he fell from the sky and landed on his hip and it broke. If he was spraining his ankle every week, soft tissue injuries, I would understand. That is so goddamn unlucky. You think he's gonna break bones on a consistent level?
I will say, and especially as somebody who values like being able to be on the court, that's fine if you want to knock him. But still saying that Jalen Johnson is worse, or that saying that Jalen Johnson is better than Chet Holmgren, I disagree with you because you talk about impact, but like Chet Holmgren came back from missing the whole year, basically playing a quote unquote rookie season, whatever. And the Thunder went from a fun play-in team, right, getting waxed on the road in Minnesota to we're the number 1 seed and we have the number 1 defense. Like obviously Shai's ascension helped that. Shai's ascension does not help the number 1 defense in that way. Like Chet Holmgren's presence, that's what gets them to be the number 1 defense in the league. And you've seen that last year. This year, they just have defensive guards everywhere. But when you have the defensive infrastructure that they have and Chet playing at the level. We were talking about the 10 games that he played before he broke his hip.
Mm-hmm.
You and I were both coming into the season like, oh, this is Wemby's award to lose. He got it. And after those 10 games, we're like, hey, Chet is the DPOY right now. He's playing better than Victor. He is the best defender in the NBA. And so when you have that and a 5 who can stretch, you talk about scalability. You talk right. I know. Whatever. but when you talk about that, when you talk about impact, you talk about dropping him onto any other team. You don't even have to change the way that you play. You can just put in this 7-3 demon who can shoot from a fairly consistent rate and give you an elite defense.
And it's just calling him an elite defender is an understatement. He's the best drop coverage defender in the NBA. Even counting Wemby. Wemby's a better defender overall. In terms of defending a pick and roll and drop coverage, it feels like I'm watching Rudy Gobert V2 watching Chet. Like he is that level defender. Like it is truly game breaking. Like in the same way, if the top 3 offensive value player was on this list, but he was mid defensively, he'd be a lot fucking higher than 18. So like I don't even want to focus on Jalen Johnson. I love Jalen Johnson. You can hype him up. Putting him at 17 is defensible. That's fine. Chet should be like 9 spots higher.
I don't know about that. See, when it comes to that, when it comes to his defense, untouchable. I can't say anything about that. And if you want to put him higher, I would do that. I'll be fine with putting him at 16 because the defense on that level, bare minimum. And I don't even remember a few guys that have had him, but you can have those conversations. But when I see Chet Holmgren right now, I see him for what his potential is. I need to see an idolized version of that. I need to see him again. I understand like the injury stuff it's concerning to me, and I don't know why we just see him break major bones in his body, and everyone's just like, oh,
because that's not a recurring thing that people struggle with.
Recurring or not, it's concerning to see it happen this early in his career.
He's broken 2 bones in 3 years, which is
it's concerning in terms
of like recurring, like all right, like you kind of got
that's
it.
Not just like that's just. That's clearly
if
just unlucky.
You're hurt, and it's semi-consistent. It's very worrisome to me.
That's just so like I'm focusing on the result and not like what we know for injury-prone players to be. Like it's clearly unlucky as fuck. He jumped up, fell down, landed on a hip hard as fuck, and broke it. Anytime somebody's ever been injury-prone, it's Can you name a single person ever who's repeatedly broken bones? Like that's not a common injury-prone thing.
Joel Embiid.
You see, he doesn't break his bones. Like I mean, his face. He broke his face a couple times.
He break bones, bro. Bones are bones.
But see, his is like your knee cartilage.
Broke his face, broke his ass, broke his knee.
The Chet stuff is not a recurring thing. Again, he might end up being injury-prone. His body type, like that, could be a thing that happens. If it happens, it probably won't be because he's breaking his hip every year. That probably won't be a part that you look back and say this is related to other injuries in a way that we can project.
I'll kind of give you that. Now, Jalen Johnson. Out of the 2 guys right here that are above him, Jalen Johnson has, while it might not be a great case, Jalen Johnson has the best case to be above Chet. Mm-hmm. That's my guy.
What?
There is not really a scenario where Trey Murphy is above Chet Holmgren.
I think Trey Murphy's offense can be really special, and the type of growth that I've seen.
Can be.
He's showcased it so far already. Now, again, I wasn't even reserved with when it comes to how I rated him because it's only been, 40, 50 games of seeing Trey Murphy on this level. He wasn't in Jalen Johnson or Chet Holmgren conversations or even Sengun conversations last year. I agree. I understand. But this is based off of this year and what I've seen so far. What really sets him apart and what really makes me like so enamored with his potential and with what he's been doing right now is seeing how deep he shoots the ball and seeing that creation just scale up another level. Now, obviously, again, it's so hard to see how real this offensive load is, considering like what he's been doing defensively, which is what it is at this point in time because the Pelicans are the Pelicans. I think he has potential to be a top 20-ish offensive player in the league,
and that's fine.
And
that's fine if you feel that way, but it's just like. He's not there right now. He's not there right now to put above Chet Holmgren. And like the fact that you have even just a little bit of question about how this is going to translate into next year with his offensive load whenever the Pelicans do get to like a semi-healthy state, that doubt in itself.
No, I don't have a question when it comes to that. I think it's going to fucking skyrocket next year.
With Jalen Johnson? Yeah, I don't have questions with him.
No, not him. Yeah, I'm talking about Trey.
I thought you said Hawks, my bad.
I'm talking about Trey.
No questions. I think he's going to be an all-star next year once the opportunity prevails, without a doubt.
Then next February, next March, cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to see it from Trey. Whereas Chet, I've already seen the production. And the question for Chet is, can you take what you learned in the playoffs last year and then
That's another thing too, I
and
didn't
do it
touch on.
here? But that's a question that we'll have answers to in a month and a half. I think Trey still has to.
All I'm saying is they benched Hardenstein tonight finally because it hasn't been working very well with the two bigs compared to what it was before. And Chet went back to the center, 23 points, 15 rebounds against the defending champion Boston Celtics without Jalen Williams, who was the other elite defender. I find it to be zero surprise that as soon as he goes back to center, the position that when they signed Hardenstein, I said, I pray they don't put Holmgren at power forward.
You knew they were
going to
try it too.
They have to try.
Yeah.
Due diligence.
Yeah.
But when they made that decision to sign Hardenstein, I said, great. They need to start Holmgren at center and have Hardenstein be a backup, and they play some together. But Holmgren at center is what makes him special. Surprise, surprise, they go back to it, and he has a fantastic game after having the worst game of his career next to him at power forward.
Yeah, if that continues to hold up to some level, then yes, I'll grant him that ability to
And it will. We saw it last
skyrocket
year.
on this list. I believe so it will as well, but for now, the injuries concern me and the consistency offensively within a shot, not only this year, because I can't say anything about this year. I can't say anything about that. But in
better
general,
not.
last year in the playoffs, I'm worried.
I better not see a name high up on your list. And you are talking in 16 through 20, talking about injuries concern me. I better not see a name
Bro,
super high on the list.
There's another asterisk, and there's an asterisk that's
better not.
unfucking deniable.
Like, I understand having
I
Chet.
better not see it.
You're not going to have Chet as high as I do, I understand. 18 is just crazy. Like, we're focused on these two names here. There's going to be like 5 other names where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But let's keep it going. Let's see my players. I think they're similar. At 20, I have Amen Thompson. 19, Jalen Johnson. 18, Tyler Hero. 17, Alperen Sengun. This one hurt me because I had a hard time with this decision. 16, LaMelo Ball.
Honestly,
So as you can see, the conversation was LaMelo Ball or Tyrese Maxey. I went Maxey at 15.
shout out to you because I kind of feel the same way. And honestly, like, even though that these rankings may not show it, I feel like I low-key might be the lowest on LaMelo Ball out of us.
Dude,
If we're going to go band for band with LaMelo worries.
brother, why the hell did I check out his field goal percentages out of curiosity when I was making this list? Why is he shooting 40% from the field right now?
You know exactly why.
So this is hard because I allowed so when we did our rankings in December, when we do it in a month into the season, I try to be optimistic with players who are playing well and making a leap. I want to give them credit. I don't want to be a hater when we do our top 30 lists in December. When we did it, during that episode, we had the part to LaMelo. I gave him like 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
And while I was bigging him up and telling you guys he made the leap to top 30 player, in that combo, I was like, low key, I have some worries because how much of this is better and how much of this is him shooting a ton of shots and being a crazy volume merchant at 30 points per game. I was like, he's not that much more efficient. The rim scoring hasn't came around that much. He's just shooting a ton and he's on a heater. I was like, I'll give him the credit, but we do need to talk about the fact that there's a little bit of reason to be worried. How much better is he actually? As soon as we did the rankings, he got hurt, which was part of the equation. That's a player we can call injury prone because always the ankles, always joint related, right? He came back. What do you know? The heater hasn't been the same level. And it feels like we're just watching the same LaMelo Ball as previous. That is one in the worst situation ever. The Hornets are a fucking dumpster fire. I'm keeping him top 16 because he will be better in a team that has a competent environment for him to really play make to players that will
Yeah,
make
he
shots.
has the frame rate too. I agree.
So I'm applying some idea that I know he can be better in a better structure. I'm getting more concerned that he will never be the player that makes that structure well. That he will never be the type of playmaker that rises all tides and like helps steer the ship in a positive direction. We've seen a lot of different players come in and out, and it's just really hard to see LaMelo Ball as a big floor raiser.
The last time LaMelo Ball shot above 50% from the field, or at 50% from the field, was in January. Out of the 41 games that he played so far this season, he's only shot 50% from the field 5 or 6 times. That is absolutely abysmal. His efficiency is very damning. Seeing what he's doing in the paint, not too much of it. Seeing how he's jacking up all these shots, so sad. But again, because of the framework of the type of player that he is, when it comes to his ability to score, he may not be doing it too well. His ability to be a floor general, again, he may not be showing it to his best capabilities right now. The talent is there, and I'm not going to give up on it yet because everything is ass around him pretty much.
That's a good way to put it. I'm not giving up on him. He has a ceiling. He needs to be in a good structure, clearly. I'm giving up on him currently being a top 30 player. I'm not saying he can't get there. The ceiling is still there. The core skills that make him so tantalizing are still there. But just right now, if we read a top 30, he would not be in consideration for me. He is just not nearly reliable enough. And, on one hand, we have to recognize that situation is very important and that simply being surrounded by bad players makes it pretty hard to be good for most players, right? But I've talked about this in the past with other players like Paolo Banchero when we had discourse around that and like the lack of spacing. That excuse only gets you so far. There are certain concrete skills that aren't entirely because the people around you are making your life difficult. They do not control the fact that LaMelo Ball has had zero improvement as a rim scorer. They don't help. It could be nicer if he had better spacing. He does also stink at that. So you have to acknowledge both.
Yeah.
Where some people want to write it off because of the situation, when you kind of have to do a balance of both because there is certain skill sets you can see that he's just not good at.
Listen, 2017 Lonzo Ball at UCLA, special, right? I like Jello's 2 songs. I'm a big fan of LeVar Ball. I still want some ZO2 sent to me. So I don't want to bash LaMelo Ball like that because there still is some hope. But damn it, guys, I think I'm on my last leg. And I'm worried that the Hornets have ruined him. I'm worried that obviously LaMelo has a play style that needs to be free. It needs to look like this for him to feel comfortable. But also, he has played so long in this system or in this situation and taxed with all of this that I have no idea if he's ever going to be able to have that Andrew Wiggins moment where he can go to a winning situation, then instantly year
flourish.
one of that lock in, and now you could be a legitimate piece on a championship team. The first 2 years of LaMelo Ball's career, when they actually had decent pieces around him, as he was growing as a scorer, his playmaking was still good. You saw him play point guard for real. And as the team has gotten worse, and as they have asked him to take more and more shots, the perception and ultimately the process in which he goes about getting his buckets has gotten worse.
Yeah.
I'm so unbelievably worried that we're never going to get the LaMelo Ball season where all the things that we're asking of him gets put together. And so I think that that obviously there's stuff in his game that hasn't grown, that he has had specific control of. But I also think that, and you see this with a lot of players, situation dictates a lot of players' careers. And just because it can happen to role players, it can also happen to star players as well. And I think that LaMelo Ball is probably on the wrong side of that star player stuff. And it's tough because the stuff that we're seeing, the shot chucking, it seems like this is kind of ingrained in LaMelo now.
And it's hard because he has to shot chuck because there's nothing else creation wise. So he's gonna have to take bad quality looks. And I would be able to give him credit. Tyrese Maxey is also not efficient right now because he's playing in basketball fucking hell also without Embiid and without Paul George. I gave him credit because we've seen him be able to scale down into a second option role playing off of Embiid and be fantastic. We know when he doesn't have to take insane shots with terrible shot quality, he can be efficient in a role that suits him. And LaMelo Ball, you've just never really seen him be efficient regardless of situation. And again, he's year 5. He's never had a fantastic spot in this team. There's been a variety of structures, variety of skill sets, veterans around him, non-veterans around him. In none of those scenarios has he been wildly efficient. He had a good year in year 2 when he made the All-Star game. He had 52% effective field goal percentage. That's the only year he's been above average.
Question.
It's just not his habits are simply bad and hard to build around.
Who are the 2 best players that LaMelo Ball has played with in his entire career?
Terry Rozier has some good moments. And Gordon Hayward, I suppose.
That is so damning. Who are the 2 best players that Tyrese Maxey's played within his entire career?
The MVP and James Harden, I guess.
James Harden. Did he play with Ben Simmons too, or was he etched out of that?
Yes.
He played 1 year with Ben Simmons, right? I think he's been put in a perfect role to ascend.
You know what?
There's been no...
I'm glad. Sorry, finish.
No, go ahead. You're cooking right now.
The reason I have Maxey above LaMelo Ball, you're right. So people have an infatuation with best player on the team.
Yeah.
And I despise that. I think people think it's virtuous to be the best player on your team, and it makes you get points that even if you're bad at being the best player on your team, it's simply more impressive because you are the best player and that's a harder role. It is a harder role. It is not more valuable to be an average or below average engine of an offense versus being an elite second option. being an elite complementary star and having off-ball abilities, having secondary playmaking and bench units when you lead it, and being the best at that is better than being a guy who's the best player and it's not going well.
Yeah.
And that's Tyrese Maxey versus LaMelo Ball.
And I'm betting that the offensive engine in him has an ability to really show.
LaMelo?
Yeah, and LaMelo Ball has an ability to really show once he's put in the right situation, in the right scheme, and once he's put around like
if he's not out of Charlotte, we're never gonna see that.
I don't know if there's a right scheme. I think you might just have enough good players around him that his bad off-ball defense, his bad, I don't want to call it shot chucking because that's a wrong verbiage, but we'll just call it shot selection to not get too in depth right now so we can keep moving. His bad habits as a scorer, you really just need him to be next to players that are better than him, so he has to defer some and has to get into more of a playmaking focused role. So by scheme, you mean he's got to play with players that are better than him, and we have to hope that he can scale up as a playmaker and not be asked to be both, because I don't think he can handle the primary scoring plus primary playmaker like role.
Yeah, like put him next to another all-star, whatever big that you can imagine. Put him next to, I don't know, a goddamn Jaren Jackson Jr. or whatever player that you can imagine. I just know that his decision-making and his ability to just really read the floor would be so much better because it's a more serious brand of basketball. You think I would take him seriously when he had like 10, 15 games of Grant Williams as his like third best player on his
Hey,
team?
Grant Williams was cooking last year. I'm not gonna lie.
He was cooking. He's
getting blown by Dyson Daniels.
But we talking about Grant Williams, bro.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Tyrese Maxey is a fucking demon as a second option.
He's a demon, bro. You're right.
Tyrese Maxey playing off of Joel Embiid, and even early in the year, he had some stretches when he was one option where he was terrorizing some teams. It's hard for him to do that consistently. I don't think he should be in that situation.
Yeah.
Give me the elite second option. It's so much higher of a floor, so much reliable value that I know he can provide.
Yeah, we've seen it before literally time and time again with the Philadelphia 76ers, regardless of fact whether they were successful or not. He was very successful in their role, and he's one of the most surefire young players that the NBA can offer you. LaMelo Ball is the complete opposite of that, but I'm willing to bet that the pile of shit that he's in stinks so bad and it's masking how good of a player he really is.
Yeah, you're right to some extent. I need to be shown where that extent lies. I don't know which side of the bet to fall on anymore. I'm getting worried.
If Tyrese Maxey was on the goddamn Charlotte Hornets, we would be calling him Malik Monk, bro.
Yeah, well, thank God he's not. He's not. So I thank God I live in the reality where that's not the case.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't think if LaMelo Ball was next to Joel Embiid, he would be like...
I don't know.
He'd be better. No, let me ask you that.
I don't know.
Maybe that's a good fit.
Joel
He'd be
Embiid?
better.
Maybe that's a good fit. But like, I think Tyrese Maxey is a better fit playing off of Joel Embiid than LaMelo Ball is.
I don't know. It just depends.
It
bro,
would look
'cause-
entirely different. That's
Yeah,
different.
it's so different.
Okay, let's move on to the next tier. Mo, who's your 15 through 11?
This is one of the hardest tiers for me. So 15, I have Maxey. 14, Barn. 13, LaMelo Ball because of my, again, asterisk, how I see him and how I see the abilities of him scaling. 12, Halliburton. And 11, Mobley.
It's an understandable asterisk. Evan Mobley's too low. And
I agree.
He's a good amount too low. Like, he shouldn't be in this tier. I got to see who you have above him. I'll save my anger until I see who's at 10 and 9. But other than that, I mean, Halliburton, I struggle with this tier. But let me see. I think I'm next. We'll reveal mine. We'll talk about it in comparison. Actually, no, Donovan's next.
All right. Well, at 15, we're going from 15 to 11, right?
Yep.
At 15, I have LaMelo. 14, Scotty Barnes. 13, Zion. 12, J-Dub.
Oh, brother.
And 11, Ja Morant.
So I know we've done this whole Zion thing forever.
I'm not.
Again, we'll just relitigate. We'll let people know. I think Zion at 13 is asinine, but that's because I have made the clear decision that I'm not going to factor in.
that no matter what, Zion is going to be your guy.
No. Just I don't factor in. Like you put him low because you're scared he'll get injured again, and you know he will because injury prone. We've explained this so many times throughout these years. That is so arbitrary for me that I'm just like, I'm going to treat him on how he's playing right now on the court, and right now he's playing really well. I don't know how to factor in the looming fear of injury. Like, that's so arbitrary. How do I decide how much that weighs when I'm not gauging this isn't like a trade value or like a contract value list. It's how good you are, and that has no impact on how good he is on the court. So I'm like, I'm not going to consider that. I get it. It's not insane to consider it. But I feel like there's no rational way to do it. It's all feelings based.
Because of how good he is, right? Like for any other player, to me, when it comes to the amount of injury concerns, he's top of that list. Because of how damn good he is, it doesn't matter. And I have to rank him higher, much higher than this.
Like, I get it. I understand being out on Zion. Like, you don't want to deal with paying him the max contract and building around him because it scares you. But if you're just gauging how good people are on the court, I don't know how you can say this with a straight face. Like, it just...
Yeah.
How do you say somebody's worse because they're injury prone,
Yeah.
and like where does that line go? Like, you don't think J-Dub's better than him at basketball?
Yeah, it's like when it comes to guys like J-Dub or Chet Hunger, in my mind, there's real questions that I have within your game. When it comes to Zion, he is the final product already. He's been that since year 2 of his NBA career.
Oh, this is what you meant when you said he better not have Zion high.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You better shut your mouth because you were saying the same shit
Hell
about
no,
Chet.
I'm loud as hell right now, bro. But when it comes to it, though, I have questions about Chet
I'll
and his
stand 10 toes.
offensive
Fuck
game.
injuries. I don't care.
I was gonna say, you can say it. You cannot say
No,
it.
I can because
You can.
Zion is a finalized product. Chet, in my mind, he is on one end of the court, but I'm waiting for that offense
In-
to
in
slowly
your-
catch
He's better
up.
at offense than you think, but neither here nor there.
In your eyes, Chet has played 3 years and he has been hurt for 1.5 of them. And Zion Williamson has been also had a season where he basically missed the entire season, has had multiple stretches in every single year where he has missed time. And
True.
so there's no reason for you
Zion's a top 15 player when he's healthy. That is the separator
but
for
that's
me.
also
But that's not the same. Like, that doesn't make sense at all for that. Like, that's not, what's the word? The principle of that doesn't really make sense. That you care about injuries when someone's not that good, but you don't care when they're really good. Either you care or you don't.
I care.
And that's why. And also, like, if you want to talk about it, like Zion, I think that Zion is also in that space where he is too good to be like a second option. I don't know how Zion would be as a second option. So I think that if he's on your team, you kind of, to maximize him, you kind of do have to build your team around him. And so because of that, that's also why on the injury side, I do put a little bit more value on that, because
That makes sense.
because like if you have to be the number one guy and the team is built around you, and I do have injury concerns, then that does mean a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a more important Jenga piece. When you're
Yeah.
out, everything falls apart. I get that.
And so like that's why for him it means more to me. Obviously, we see every single year when he's on the floor, we always get 10 to 20 to 25 game stretches where we're like, oh my goodness, he's put it together. We've seen it in the play-in, like we've seen him get 40 points. We've seen point Zion. We're seeing Zion get triple doubles now. He's no longer at, Glenn Big Baby Davis, whatever. like he is playing very, very well. But that for me, when I know that you are the number one, that is very, very concerning to me. And then also because of like he's also a tweener, the type of team that you have to build around him is also very specific.
I understand.
That's
I do
true.
understand some basketball concerns. So I just know that you're putting him this low because of the injuries. That's why I just like already know that that's your thing. If you also have basketball concerns for the defense, I understand. I get it. The basketball concerns are like tangible. I do think he's currently playing at a level where none of that fucking matters because he's playing the best basketball of his career, which is saying something because he's played some damn good basketball.
Yes.
But he's currently the lightest he's been since his rookie year. And it shows that guy is goddamn shredded. He looks like a monster. He is passing the point Zion stuff. They're doing that. They're running lineups with Kelly Olynyk and Missy both starting. So it looks like Zion's a 3 when you glance at the box score. He's really the point guard. They're really running him as the point Zion stuff again. It's just not getting as much notoriety. He had the triple-double. Shaq said that's just not impressive because he only had 20 points.
Nothing makes Shaq happy anymore.
Yeah,
bro.
whatever, old man. But it's amazing. His defense... Nobody on this team is defending well right now. It's been atrocious. The system is not in place because there's no Herb Jones and there's a rookie center. So I'm not going to put stock either way in his defense, but he hasn't looked bad to me. But then again, the whole defense is bad and Swiss cheese. So I'm not going to say he's made a defensive leap because you really can't tell unless you watch every single minute he plays. And I think the level of force he's playing with as a scorer, the utter dominance he's had in these last 15 games, I don't care at all about the lack of second option scalability or anything like that. Because if you're going to play at this level, you're one of the 10 best players in the world, and we will build around you happily.
That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to scalability and it's like the defensive issues that you probably have when it comes to how you structure your team, you got it. I cannot say too much about that. But also there's been so much, this roster has been so muddied by all the variants and all the centers that they tried to put around him, whether it be the Daniel Tices of the world, recently Kelly Olynyk, they tried Jonas Valanciunas, Steven Adams. Like, they tried so much stuff. Not Steven Adams, my bad. But, again, when he's on the court, outside of maybe 5 players, 6, 7 players maybe, he looks like he can look anyone in the eyes. He's performing at, I don't want to say an all-time level, but goddamn it feels like that whenever he's on the court. Bro.
He's an all-time slasher, for sure. Like, without a doubt, all-time level, the driver of the basketball. And it's people think it's just like run and dunk man because he's so strong. The level of touch he has around the rim, the way that he jumps up into people's chests, finishes around contact with the softest touch, it's low key like Jokic's touch in like Charles Barkley's body. His ability to make tough layups and finish over and around you is truly insane. Like if he didn't have the issues he had, you would not be crazy by saying he has all-time level skills.
Mm-hmm. And that's fair. And so if obviously like the injury stuff, especially with him, is always like on the top of my mind. If I was to rearrange this right now, I would put J-Dub at 11 and I would put Zion at 12 and I would move Ja Morant down to 13. Because honestly, all the stuff that I'm saying about Zion, it happened in real time with Ja Morant.
Let's talk about that.
Exactly.
I'll reveal my next one because we have to have some Ja Morant dialogue because in similar fashion on Melo Ball, I'm having a hard time with my thoughts around Ja Morant. Not out, but I do need to do some soul searching. At 15, I have Tyrese Maxey. 14, I have Scotty Barnes. 13, I have Tyrese Halliburton. 12, I have Ja Morant. 11, I have Darius Garland. This is another one where we did our top 30 players in December. Ja Morant was playing pretty well to start the year. There was some signs of him having a slow year, but it wasn't something terrible yet. The worst was still yet to come. And, it's a small sample size in December. So I gave him benefit of the doubt because previously we saw him play.
We've always given him the benefit.
He's Mr. Benefit of the doubt, man. But the reason he always gets it is because he's a playoff riser. He gives us a lot of moments that we have to say, hey, man, we do worry about your spacing. We worry that despite being a great slasher, you're never super efficient. You're not a good defender. You're a good passer, but not all world. We do have some concerns, but you goddamn produce constantly. You give us reasons to say you get shit done, so we got to respect you and put you high on the totem pole. You were a top 15 player every time we've seen you healthy. So coming into this year in December, I gave him that grace. I still ranked him around 15 in the top 30 players list. Mm-hmm. Well, since then, he had the worst slump of his career, playing as a second option to Jaren Jackson, in a system that does not cater to him. We talked about it. I talked about it early in the year that I was a little bit worried that this new, really free-flowing, attacking closeouts, everybody gets their touches and we fill spaces offensively and focus on off-ball shooting and off-ball cutting and really driving from a 1 through 5, everybody can attack off the dribble way instead of Ja Morant's man pick and rolls. They're the lowest pick and roll volume team in the league.
Yeah.
I talked early in the season. I feel like this is going to become an issue. That shit became an issue. He had a rough stretch in the middle of the year while Jaren Jackson thrived. And he is playing really well as of late, the last 6 games. He's had several 30-point outings with Jaren Jackson out of the lineup and him getting the touches that are needed to get back in the groove. So I'm paying attention to that. I like what I'm seeing as of late.
Yeah.
Even if that does well, right? He gets back in the groove. I think the down part of the season, while I'm not going to overreact to him at his lowest, I don't think that's who he's going to be. That was clearly a slump.
Yeah.
It made me sit down and think about the floor and the ceiling of Ja Morant as a player. And, he probably shouldn't be your best offensive player on your team.
Why so?
He's not a good three-point shooter. He's a good slasher and fantastic at creating shots for others out of those roles. Not a hyper-efficient guy, mostly because of his size. And when he was the lead engine, they always had a bad half-court offense as a team. That's why they went to this new style of play, because it didn't work in the playoffs. It was really hard to win playoff series, and you had the 25th best half-court offense in the league. So if the juice isn't necessarily worth the squeeze playing through Ja Morant, and we saw this year that while it was a stretch that's not going to be consistently that bad, there is some reasons to doubt his ability to be a second option, playing next to other guys and continue to get his game off without having that great rhythm. So I guess the thing I talked about earlier, where amazing second option who can masquerade as a first every now and then, like Darius Garland, versus Ja Morant, who needs to be the guy maybe, but it isn't necessarily at the highest level. So I went towards Garland, who has the off-ball game, the amazing off-ball shooting to thrive next to Donovan Mitchell, and also be the best player on nights when Donovan Mitchell isn't hitting or isn't available. That versatility, I don't think Ja Morant might ever have that. And the ceiling isn't high enough with him as the guy to warrant it, I don't think.
I think this season really, it's been taking a toll on Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies and all their fans, bro. I think because of the way how I feel like this season is going to play out, their head coach is probably going to get fired, bro, because I think the playoffs are going to go disastrous for them. When it comes to Ja and how this team and roster set up, I understand you when it comes to the ceiling and how far a Ja Morant-led team can take you. Their half-court offense is certainly limited because of things within his game, aka like his ability to shoot the ball with confidence from distance, which has been a continuous struggle.
Confidence is a thing.
It's clearly like not his bag. And we've seen growth for a little bit, like way early in his career, but it's just like continues to regress, especially this season. And seeing him like deprioritize looks like it's shot his confidence and his will to go as a player. It looks like his effort has dropped off.
100%.
But when it comes to Ja Morant, I will say his body of work in the library of bangers that he has on his belt, he deserves to be higher.
Do we overreact to those bangers and do we let the cloud?
It is today.
Do
You're
we
right.
let the cloud go past? So
It is
you're
today.
right. The confidence is a real thing. He's been uncomfortable in this system. He's too reluctant to get to his jumper off the dribble from mid range and from three. He hesitates a lot and ends up driving. You know, in this system, they don't give him a lot of screens, so he gets a lot of opportunities to shoot open shots that he doesn't take because of confidence, and ends up trying to attack a closeout and drive, and it just often ends up in a really, really contested, hard layup. Look at this shot that was on the screen right now. I'll rewind. Look at this. Look what happens at this play. So he's attacking, no screen, drives into the chest of a defender, gets swatted from behind by Kevin Durant. That happens a lot because he's not confident enough to shoot the jumper, that he forces a lot of tough shots at the rim that don't lead to conducive offense in this system. So I'm glad you mentioned the confidence. That's the biggest thing. It's tough. Like, do you think Ja Morant can be the best player offensively, the engine of an offense that can have a top 10 offense and contend?
I think he has
Yes.
a strong chance to. I think he has the ability to. Now, with this roster, you need to have a very specific roster to do so.
What kind?
I think
What does
you
that look
need
like?
to. I think you're three. You need a wing who has an absurd mid-range game or an
Okay.
absurd like ability to just like someone who has a ratchet.
Kawhi Leonard, gotcha.
Someone like
KD.
You need Kevin Durant.
someone like that, bro. Or not even that. I feel like if you put like 2021 Chris Middleton on this goddamn
Pretty
team,
good player still, okay.
you know, this team right here,
All-Star dropped
we're-
40 in the finals. Gotcha.
Some slight.
So, yeah, and someone
Dime a
instead
dozen.
of goddamn G.G. Jackson or Vince Williams or whoever they have currently running at that spot, like you need more conducive players who can cater around Ja Morant's game and fulfill in the gaps time and time again. And right now, that's asking for best case scenario. I understand that they were trying to trade for Mikal Bridges for a reason, bro. Last year when I think they offered him the Phoenix Suns like 4 or 5 first round picks or whatever insanity it is.
Yeah.
They understand his gaps. I think sooner than later, next offseason, they'll probably revert to Ja Morant ball and realize like if we really want to have a shot, a puncher's chance of doing something special, we need to lean all in on him instead of playing this like happy-go-lucky.
You know what?
That's scary too, though.
You know who he just described? Who he described when he was talking about these wings? He was describing 2025 Jaren Jackson, who's essentially a small forward playing power forward to center, and he's playing very well as an in-between scorer, attacking in the short mid-range. And Ja Morant has fit terribly in Jaren Jackson conducive games.
Well, no, it's different because
Is it
again,
different?
yeah, because they're not prioritizing someone like Ja due to the screen setting and how the offense is set up. You know,
Yeah, I
Like
agree. But that's why Jaren is thriving in the system. So like, you want that player, you got him, but you have to adapt. And I don't know if Ja Morant has the adaptability. And again, this is clearly the worst case system for him. So I'm not saying every system will be bad for him. That's not ideal. So it sounds like I'm tearing apart the concept of Ja Morant. Like I wouldn't want him on my team. I would. I'm just comparing him to other all-star level players.
Yeah.
And Darius Garland is a lot less of a problem to fit in. He fits in a lot better situations, a lot more, I should say. There's no headache there in terms of trying to imagine him next to players better than him. Do you think Ja Morant could thrive next to a shooting guard like Donovan
Mitchell? I think he
100%.
could. Yeah, because
100%.
because of the level of shooter and how explosive Donovan Mitchell is, he absolutely could. Absolutely
and
could.
also like D Mitch can handle some of the playmaking stuff. So like Ja Morant, I think if you had those two together and you had a very creative coach,
Yeah.
that can understand like how to use Ja in like an off ball and like, yo, we're just gonna have you running around cutting, catching lobs, stuff like that.
They're
Like,
trying that now. He's not that good at it.
No, they're not
But-
fully
but
though.
if
They're
you-
not
but if
fully
you had
because
a
they
better-
took away
but
his
it- but
screens.
if you had a
What is
better
Superman
playmaker-
without his cape?
I'm talking about his part. He's
if
talking
you
about
had a-
finishing him off ball. They are fully
if
using
you
him off ball.
if you had a better playmaker around him that can basically like run point around Ja Morant.
He's a point guard. You need a playmaker to set up your point guard? Like,
I'm
I don't
saying
even think it's a
if
playmaker.
we're asking
you-
for a lot.
if first of all, I don't think that Ja Morant should be used off ball like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that Ja Morant has to be on ball. I'm saying if you're gonna try and play this style of basketball, you should have. And again, it's very hard to find these kinds of players, but you need to have somebody like D Mitch who can do that and who can still have elite playmaking or a very high and above average playmaking. Obviously, you are asking to put another all NBA type guard next to Ja Morant. That is not going to happen. But this situation is so interesting because we've talked about it all years that you are lowering the ceiling of Ja Morant. You are raising the floor of your team.
Correct.
And this is one of the issues that Ja Morant might be in that Zion category.
But
where,
keep in mind, he is playing well now. So let's make sure
yeah.
we'll see if it sticks, but he is playing well now.
But can you give context to
Jaren's not there.
Okay. So he might be in that Zion category where
I understand
I
that.
know you might be too quote unquote too good to be a second option, and to maximize you have to be the number one. Now, if you are the number one, two things.
Yeah.
One, you have to play.
You know how I view
5
him?
games in a row minimum.
Okay, you got
and
it.
then two, you're gonna have to be able.
I can't say it. But
You're gonna have to do that, and then two, you are going to have to learn how to shoot. You just have to.
When it comes
And
to
that's what I mean. That's what I mean by the off-ball stuff, like Darius Garland, where you talk about the D-Mitch thing. Sure, they can play together and they can do well. They're really talented. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that you need to shoot is a big thing to ask for someone who's never been a off the dribble or catch and shoot guy to that degree. Whereas Darius Garland is fucking incredible at that, and that makes a huge value difference.
You know how I view him? Like, in terms of, I use the phrase like puncher's chance. I view him the same light, same level of player, same type of opportunity with all the flaws in his game as someone like Allen Iverson, because you can get to the. It would not surprise me if there was one time in Ja Morant's career where a team was perfectly built around him, where he finds his way into the NBA Finals, just slips his way into the NBA Finals, or if he fucking miraculously wins an MVP award.
And guess what?
That is very possible.
First of all, saying miraculously wins MVP is funny. But if that's the
Lucky MVP.
yeah, but like if that's the player, cool. Ja Morant is top 10. If you're talking about an Allen Iverson style guy who can win MVP of the league, I don't think Ja Morant right now can win MVP. I don't think that Ja Morant in 2022, I don't even think that player was like a top 5.
That dude
MVP.
averaged like 27 that
He
year.
was amazing. I
crazy.
still don't know if he was an
I just-
MVP candidate in that way.
Yeah, I just think it's so muddied
That's what I'm
up
saying.
because if you take someone's superpower away, they look so different. Like, and that's what the Memphis Grizzlies did to him.
Okay, I mean, I understand what you're saying. They're not asking him to, like, every possession ISO out of the corner. Taking your superpower away is a bit dramatic. They definitely made it harder for him. But if you're not going to be able to lead a good half-court offense, you got to be able to be adaptable. And
That is true.
and that's
Also,
the problem.
we've seen it plenty of times where
Why the fuck would you draft someone like Zach Edey and tell me not to use him, bro? Where are my bigs at? There's a misalignment right now going on between the front office and the head coach. What is the point of drafting a starter like that if you're not going to play him like that and also not allow me to cook like how I'm used to cooking?
And then they've done a little bit more of it as the year's gone on. But yeah, it's a weird point to start from. And just in general, we agree this.
Why would you give me something that I can't have?
We agree this situation is not the best for Ja, and it's a slump. That we're not writing him off because of it. It just highlights some issues that you say there. It's a big problem here. It might be a small problem forever. I need to see it not be a problem for a couple of times before I fully have as much faith as I once did.
Yeah. And I'm okay with Garland over him because I think in general
I struggle with Halliburton versus Ja. I'm not gonna lie. I love Halliburton right now.
Oh yeah, fuck that. I'm never putting Halliburton over Ja.
Dude, Halliburton's hooping. He's
been hooping and he's special.
He is the antithesis of everything we're describing. The way I'm describing Ja Morant making team building difficult at times, Halliburton makes team building so unbelievably easy. He's back to clicking. He can shoot threes again. He is the easiest point guard in the NBA to build around, besides, I guess, Steph Curry, who's like fits with anybody. Halliburton's ability to push offense, push pace, keep the ball moving fast, not dominate the ball whatsoever, and still rack up 10 assists a game with the smallest amount of time dribbling because he just makes fast decisions. That's insanely valuable. And he can shoot off ball, doesn't take away from anybody in any way. Yeah.
As you can see, he has not shown up on my list.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you.
That's fine.
I'm giving Ja Morant that's the part where I'm choosing to believe in what I once thought about Ja Morant. And really what I'm saying is I'm holding on to prior biases and I'm just willingly doing it for Ja a little bit because I want to believe. I do think today I'd rather have Tyrese Halliburton.
You gotta believe.
But this is the part where I said, while I'm not projecting, I'm going to apply some common sense context with bad situations. Mm-hmm. And it still feels so weird to call Ja Morant a bad situation. The team is great. It's just not conducive to him. But we think he'd be better at a different place. So I'm giving him that tiebreaker. But man, it's difficult.
Yeah. Halliburton is playing some undeniably fantastic basketball, some of the best of his career over the
Bro,
last
this
few
guy's
years.
hitting Peter Griffin corner threes
Peter Griffin.
to win games. Like he's shooting two hands, tongue out like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He's going crazy.
Hey, shout out to Scotty Barnes. We all have him at 14. Perfect agreement.
Good
The
player.
14th best player.
We haven't said a word about the Toronto Raptors.
I know we have it all lately, and people like Raptors fans like always have a chip on the shoulder because nobody in the league cares
Guys,
about
we'll
them.
talk about you guys next year.
Stay
man.
over
No,
there.
I like Scotty Barnes a lot. I'm in a place with him though that I don't like him quite as much as I once did as the best player on a team. Like I have lower expectations now because I don't think he can be your best player.
Yeah.
Which people are still holding on to. But I think that's okay because I think when they get in the situation where he can be the second best player or God forbid the third, he's going to be goddamn amazing as a secondary star. If I have said this all year as the number one option I could think of. If I could pair him with Anthony Edwards in my perfect world, he would be a monster.
he
playing
would
off
look
the
like a
score.
top 20 NBA player, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he will be amazing. His defense has been great this year. His offense has been fucking bad because he's asked to be a primary creator, shooting a lot of off the dribble jumpers because he's not that good at creating rim attempts. His rim pressure on ball is not that good because he's not that fast, not that quick. Struggles to beat his man one-on-one, which leads to a lot of ugly mid-range jumpers, the pull-up threes, and what it once was a couple years ago when he was playing off of Siakam. When I had faith he was like a top 20 player in the world. The jump shooting isn't quite what I thought it was, so the scoring on ball is really bad right now. But it's because he's asked to be the lead creator, and he shouldn't be. So I think when Brandon Ingram comes in, he's in like a lot better of a situation for him. And I think when you get to a place where you have an even better player to play off him than Brandon Ingram, he's going to have a great career as a secondary guy.
I agree. I have not sold any stock on Scotty Barnes whatsoever. It's still there. It's just like
I've just changed the description on the stock. I've changed the description entirely. I'm still just in love with him, but like in a smaller role than I once was.
Yeah, there's a little bit of dust on it right now. Can't show up.
So I get maybe that means I sold stock. I don't know.
It does.
I
It
do.
does.
There's dust on it. Don't.
I just recalibrated my
Don't show your
expectations.
cards. Don't show your
I
cards.
changed my expectations. I still like him, just not in the same way I once did.
Okay. Great
And
Toronto.
yeah, other than that, that's a tier. I think that's
All right.
this was the hardest one for me, low key.
Dude, same.
The 11 through 13 point guard range is difficult.
Hell.
These three guards, Garland, Morant, Halliburton, is just like philosophy of what kind of guard you want. You have the balanced guy in Garland, the needs to be on ball guy in Morant versus the less on ball juice but incredible at setting everybody else up in Halliburton. Like it's really two polar opposites and a guy in between. And I said the guy in between is the best.
Good job.
Let's roll into the next tier.
All right, time for the top 10, y'all. Time for it to get ugly. Time for it to start arguing. I already know where it's going. I'm first. Oops. At 10, I have Franz Wagner. At 9, I have J-Dub. 8, Chet Holmgren. 7, Paolo Banchero. 6, Jaren Jackson Jr. Very difficult. As you guys know, I have become a Paolo Banchero hater. And I feel like I'm being fair. I don't think I'm hating here. It's 7.
You're not. That's not even the interesting thing here. The interesting thing is J-Dub over Franz. I think that's the most interesting.
Okay, let's talk about the
conversation
Magic
here.
because so early in the season, Paolo Banchero came out 5 games, was fucking phenomenal, right? He was scoring 30 a game because he had 50 in one of those games. The rim scoring was back. We ranked him in top 25 despite him missing every game after top 5 because we were like, let's be positive. He made the leap. He's a goddamn beast.
Yeah.
And we ranked him off those 5 games. He hurt his oblique, came back. For the first 20 games or so, he was goddamn ass. It was horrible. And after 16, I think, we came up here, we had a conversation, and I said, I'm kind of worried. I'm not writing him off because I will give him 20 games to get back in form. You were like, is 20 games the line? I was like, I guess so. I don't know. We got to figure out when because it's been 16 and it looks shitty. So I'm kind of worried. And we were like, right now, Franz is playing better than Paolo. Like, it's undeniable. He is more effective. The on-off numbers were insane. They were so effective with Franz on the court and so horrible with Paolo on the court. Since then, Paolo's bounced back. In his last 10 games, the rim percentage is back up to 70% at the rim, which is the number one thing he needed and what he did in those first 5 games that we didn't see for a while post-oblique. And it stands to reason that an oblique injury will limit your driving ability for a while and you got to get back. So I've been encouraged the last 10 games. He's also a free throw merchant.
Great.
He's amazing at drawing free throws. And I say merchant, which I never say. He actually relies upon it in a merchant style where he has bad shooting games, but he's so amazing at being physical and drawing fouls that it bolsters his efficiency in games, which I'm not saying it as an insult to be a free throw merchant. It gives him a high floor. So he's back in the last 10 games of dominating at the rim, shooting 71%. He's getting to the line like crazy. The jumper's still not great. I'm not going to lie. I still don't like the mellow instinct in his head to always go for these hard jumpers. But he's playing well enough that I'm willing to give him credit for the injury derailing him and not being who he is forever in the same way I did Chet. That's why they're both as high, right? Mm-hmm. I simultaneously have realized that Paolo is getting back to himself. I also have realized that I hate the Orlando Magic and I do not have faith in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner long term. Part of it is everything that we talked about before with Paolo and his style of play not being as conducive with the ball in his hands as Franz is, who's a much better driver and playmaker. That's still true, despite Paolo scoring better. You still have more effective offense with Franz Wagner being the lead guy because Paolo is not a good driver of offense for others still. That'll come in time. When that happens, he'll be top 4 on this list probably. So I'm accounting for that. Franz needs to learn how to fucking shoot and play off ball. These two are currently in the same place I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were a few years ago when they weren't fitting and weren't making each other better. But those guys could both shoot. So even when they weren't playmaking and making each other better, they still could survive on the court. Magic have the worst space in the league. That's not their fault. They also don't make it better. It's not their fault that their team construction is so bad. They legitimately, I think, are reaching the point where they don't fit very well together. I feel okay saying that. I don't think they should blow it up. They should give more time to gel. But right now, they are not a particularly good duo.
Yeah, I think it's, and obviously like...
Oh, my bad. And that's why Franz is below J-Dub, because he's fucking bad off ball, despite being amazing on ball, and J-Dub is more versatile.
Okay. I think, all right, so to the J-Dub piece, cool. Like, I think we all agree, like, J-Dub is amazing. And the only question that we have about J-Dub is his shot creation going to be able to either be at a certain level or rise to a level that we didn't see in the playoffs last year? But other than that, J-Dub is fantastic. So cool. I'm with that. Franz and Paolo, I was very, very high. I was the highest out of all of us. And I was like, listen, they could potentially go on a run. Like, Paolo's going to come back. Franz is going to be back. It's going to be amazing. I think that we have not seen them in like a one, everybody on the team is healthy. Mm-hmm. 2, both of them are healthy because both of them had the same injury. Yep. They both had right oblique injuries. And so I would like to see them. Obviously, this season is lost. And yep. I'm so sad that this season has gone the way that it is. So my vision for them is next October when the season starts. Can we see this team be good? And can we see both of them be at their best level or be at a healthy level and see what that looks like? Because when Franz was hooping, Paolo was out, and then he had to, come back into the fold, vice versa, all that. Now Jalen Suggs is out for the year. Even last year when Paolo was like starting to take the leap, Franz was having a horrible shooting season. So we haven't seen them at quote unquote like this level in really ever in their career. So my eyes are towards October in terms of like a team building thing. And I'm looking at them both as individuals, and this is where the 5% of projection comes in for both of them because the season has just been so weird.
Yeah, it's not their fault. You're right. It is a wash. And again, I'm not saying they can't play together or they should be blown up or anything. I don't believe that. They should be given time. It is no coincidence that the time Franz made the star leap and looked so good is a time Paolo was on the court, because that has been a running theme all season, even when Paolo's healthy. I got this pulled up. I have a stat pulled up from Data Baller, which has a good system that lets you see player stats playing with each other and without. When Franz Wagner plays with Paolo Banchero, these are per 75 possession stats. 25 points, 3.2 assists, 6 rebounds, 56% true shooting. 25, 3, and 6, right? That's with Paolo on the court. With Paolo off the court, 29 points, 6.6 assists. Same efficiency. 29 and damn near round up to 7 with Paolo off the court. Part of that is simply because, there's one less star, so they need more usage from those guys. That happens a lot. This isn't something that's super different. You see this with star duos. It matches the goddamn eye test. The fact that his assists are so much lower with Paolo on the court, he is minimized with Paolo Banchero. Yeah. Paolo Banchero does not play a style of offense that helps Franz Wagner get his game off. It's straight up Franz Wagner stand there and wait your turn when Paolo Banchero touches the ball, because he is a ball stopper. And when he's dominant, making 56% of his mid-range jumpers like in the playoffs last year, you'll live with that. That hasn't consistently been the case. So while I don't think Paolo is like bad, he doesn't make a lot of guys better right now. I think it's fair to say. And Franz needs to be prioritized with the ball in his hands. He's not versatile enough off ball. And that's both of their problems.
Yes, I 100% agree. And that's why when my ratings or rankings show up, it's going to be quite jarring. I think it's more so that I was like you, Donovan. Maybe I didn't like ride for Paulo as hard as you, but I was like, yeah, he is that guy, the guy. I envision a world in which he is going to be like a top 7, 8 player one day, bare minimum. And because of how jagged his game has been this entire season, now of course he went through his injuries and he's been looking so much better. He's one of the top scorers that the NBA has to offer, right behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right after the All-Star
Volume
game.
wise.
I understand that. He is like that when it comes to the score, but there's so much more to it when it comes to how he gets those buckets.
Yeah.
And so because I see someone like Franz, he just looks so much more deployable in any instance. Offense with him just runs so much smoother, bro. Like I have no worries, no lapses. He's not like necessarily ball stopping, things like that. Completely kill the offense. And what's been letting me down when it comes to Paulo throughout the entirety of the year. I'm not talking about the last 10 games because again, he's been much better when it comes to getting into the rim. The stuttering in his games and how he just like kind of messes up the flow of the offense. It's hard to surpass that. And I don't know if that's like it looks way worse when it comes to his team construction, but when it comes to his like how he thinks about the game and how he wants to destroy teams, he destroys them. But is it in the most effective way possible? Are you making your life easier? Are you making Franz's life easier? I look at stuff like that, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of the boat has sailed a little bit when it comes to seeing Paulo as that guy. And like you said, it's hard as fuck to see someone like Paulo as like a number 2 option. Like
I think Paulo's ceiling, this is probably my personal bias of obviously like I love buckets and whatever. And like
buckets.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like I think that Paulo's ceiling is higher. I also think that Paulo needs more to reach his ceiling. And so like I think that Franz can get out the mud a little bit easier, and Paulo probably just needs a little bit of help. Now, if you want to take that and say, well, if you need all this help, then you aren't the better player. Okay, cool. This offense also sucks. And it's like yes,
they're the reason too.
No,
though.
I know. Yeah. I know it sucks.
You can't have your 2 stars healthy and be the worst offense in the league. I understand the spacing doesn't help.
That is
you
damning,
cannot have
bro.
2 all-star.
That is damning.
You can't have 2 all-star caliber players and tell me that it's not their fault at all.
I'm not saying it's not their fault. I'm saying though,
it's more on them than the spacing.
I'm saying that
I'm joking.
We've been watching these Magic highlights. Anytime anybody is driving towards the basket, there's 4 people around them.
It's bad.
You know, like it doesn't matter if it's Paulo, if it's Franz, if it's whoever. If you're driving to the basket, you are getting clobbered in this offense. And it's so get it out the mud. I don't like.
But with the way Paulo plays, it amplifies the getting out the mudness.
Yes.
When it comes to Franz, I don't feel like that.
I understand
it feels
that,
so slippery.
And that's why I'm saying he specifically needs more to get there.
Yeah.
He also has to improve. And it's the same thing, and I'm glad you brought up Tatum and Brown. We were saying that they were redundant for a long time. And then guess what? Jason Tatum made a playmaking leap. Like Jason Tatum learned how to play in a different style. He learned how to be more versatile. Paolo's going to have to do that. Does he have to be point guard like Franz? No.
No, he can't be.
Yeah.
He needs to get off the ball more. Again, so 7, I think I'm setting aside my worries for Paolo and I'm giving him benefit of the doubt. And really this might just be like peer pressure where I feel obligated to because everyone calls me a hater. It might just be seeping in. I think I'm being generous right now, and this will be the last time in a ranking I'm generous. If we see if next year starts and these things aren't improved, I will give up on this benefit of the doubt.
You might as well expose our rankings, bro, because I'll do it for you.
Okay, so so with Paolo, I'm being generous, but also you
Paolo
said
at 10. You probably have Paolo at 10 and Franz at 9.
His pacing offensively is so bad. He refuses to set screens in any effective way. He sets screens like a diva, like he's like a point guard and is like, slips real fast, does not make contact. He plays too slow, makes decisions too slow, gets into these things. So like he's the best part of their offense in terms of when he's on and his scoring, but also the worst because he makes everything else really hard to build around when your spacing is that bad.
That's an abusive relationship you're in, Donovan. Do you understand that? He makes you feel one way, the best, but also makes you feel the worst at the same time.
And it's hard because like the casual fan that isn't watching that closely and is just like, ooh, number 1 pick, he gets buckets, thinks he's like a superstar. And then stats nerds who I see on Twitter act like he's fucking garbage because his impact numbers are like hilariously ass. I don't usually bring up the nerdy advanced stats on here because
Get in
like
your bag.
for our audience, it's like hard to digest. I'm just going to be spouting numbers, but there are good advanced analytics
Give
that
him
gauge
credit.
your impact. His are routinely every single year of his career say that he's a player who makes his team worse when he's on the court. I don't necessarily.
I refuse to believe that.
Yeah, well, they don't score more points when he's on the court. So regardless of what you want to believe, they don't score more or defend better when he's on the court. So like, I didn't advance ones. The basic ones also say they score a lot worse than him playing, and I think we need to balance that with talent. But at the end of the day, when you're a young player on this list, I can give you the talent nod because you're developing. Talent doesn't mean shit if it doesn't impact. This isn't like an aesthetic contest. It doesn't matter who looks the best or who's the coolest. If you're not making your team win games, that shit doesn't matter. And eventually, Paolo Banchero has to translate this talent to impact.
Let's see the rest of
next
the
tiers.
rankings.
See the next tiers.
Okay. So at
Told
10,
you.
I got Paulo. 9, Franz
Told
Wagner.
you.
8, Garland. 7, Jaren Jackson Jr. And 6, I got J-Dub.
Well, goddamn.
Jada at 6 is okay.
Brother,
I wouldn't argue. I love J-Dub, but
his game is tough, bro.
it's ambitious. The shot making is coming around this past week.
The best version of J-Dub is 6.
Yeah, and this past week we're getting it again. Defensively, he is goddamn amazing.
That
He's
is
made a
what
crazy
catapults
defensive
him.
leap. He's one of the most valuable players in the NBA defensively. Offensively this year, his shot, he really relies on tough shot making. Last year he shot like 44% from 3 and like 52% from mid-range. So if you had that shooting season plus his defense this year, he would be a goddamn goon. But he's had a rough shooting year. TBD on which version of that is true. I think it's a slump and he'll be closer to what he has been the past week or two. It hasn't been consistent enough for me to go 6.
That's fair. That's fine. When it comes to me going 6, again, like this is like pretty much the best version of J-Dub. And because of the context of the team, aka your man Chet Holmgren being back in the fold, I think we're going to see the best version of J-Dub because I think Chet, again, like relieves so much pressure off
Oh,
of
shit. I
all
feel like
players
J-Dub at
on the
6,
court.
Chet at 18. God damn.
Bro.
You're
Again,
gonna feel crazy in a month.
I'm not going to feel crazy.
You will.
I'm being patient. I can catapult him for sure. I'm gonna be okay doing that. I can see him being as high as like, I don't know, 12, maybe in 2-3 weeks from now when he gets more reps under his game and whatnot. But I have to see what he does in the playoffs. Regardless of the fact, seeing J-Dub, what really separates me for him is seeing how well he was able. He touches all aspects of the basketball court. He does everything at an above average rate. And then seeing someone like Chet be out for God knows how long and seeing Jada be able to mask as a rim protector, being the biggest guy out there at a lot of times on the court when iHeart was out too, is special. And now, yes, like his offensively, he's down. The percentages are not that good. Points are up, cool, whatever. But in general, he's not that efficient anymore because I think he's being tasked to do so much and he might be overcompensating a little bit defensively. But seeing that ability and that leap makes me feel so much higher of a player like him compared to Jaren Jackson Jr., Darius Garland, and the other two Orlando Magic guys because J-Dub has so much more to fall back on in his game, so many layers at a higher level to fall back in his game than everyone else right below him.
You want to see something funny? And why Chet is so important to this team? You mentioned he's overtasked. Thunder fans don't talk about this stuff. Thunder fans bully the shit out of J-Dub. They call him J-Tubs. They say all this shit.
J-Tubs.
Because he added a lot of weight to be such a good defender. He got bulky, and he's slower now, and it's hurt his burst, hurt his offense. Back to Data Baller. With Chet, he averages 22 points, 60% true shooting. Without Chet, 55% true shooting.
Surprise, surprise.
Having Chet Holmgren, who is your second best player, makes your third best player better in J-Dub. Surprise, surprise. He is more efficient when Chet's there to relieve some pressure, to give you 5-out spacing, open things up for him, to give you another passer in Chet, another scoring threat, because Chet, contrary to what we might believe, is a very good scorer still. J-Dub needs Chet. It's a very symbiotic relationship.
I don't know. Okay, you need better players around him, and Chet is a better player than whatever the fuck they're rolling out.
They had some good players, though.
Without
They had some good players in those minutes. It wasn't like they were playing
You're
scrubs.
right, but like the size just wasn't there, like straight up when it comes to OKC. They're strictly relying on him for the most part, and then when iHeart came into the fold, efficiently naturally is going to rise up a little bit naturally. So I give credit to Chet. I'm not going there just to call him the second best player. I'm not stamping that flag, but that can be a very fluid conversation later. Not for me right now.
You keep saying this like Chet's a rookie. Like we haven't seen anything. We had a whole season in which he was better last year. The beginning of this year, he was going crazy. We gave Paolo Banchero the credit for that first 5 games. We just forget that Chet also made that leap in those 10 games. And he hasn't even been that much worse. He's just playing less minutes. Like, you're blinded by the stat sheet saying less points per game. He has not been that much worse, and the situation's been worse, and he's recovering from injury. You're treating him like he dropped 10% across the board in every field goal percentage, and that's not the case at all.
No, I'm not treating him like that whatsoever. Like, when I see Chet, I worry about injuries, and then also I'm thinking about like how effective offensively he can be. Naturally, the spacing is going to be there, so he's going to provide so much value. Why are you jumping?
What do you make that face for?
What do you see?
I just
Spout it.
no. I saw what's about to happen. Continue.
Oh, you saw the hypocrisy loading? Yeah.
Yeah, wait, hypocrisy. Where at?
We already talked about it.
Are you talking about Zion Williamson?
Maybe.
If you want to talk about it, we can
Hold
get
on,
into
hold
it.
on.
Well, you hold your horses. Let's go to Donovan's next list.
Wow. Okay. At 10, I have Jaren Jackson Jr. At 9, I have Tyrese. At 8, I have Darius Garland. At 7, I have Franz. And at 6, I have Chet Holmgren.
Ooh, Halliburton
Halliburton's
9.
high.
I like it. I
Okay.
respect it. I fully like. He's tough because people are going to remember those first 15 games in which he was goddamn awful. But we said it last week, I think. He is the type of player that is 3-point reliant as a scorer. He will have cold stretches and he will have hot stretches both ways. Don't react either way. The truth is he's 20-10, instant offense, very conducive to winning offensively. The truth is in between. If you want to say the in between consistent level is something like this, I respect it.
He was at 27 and 12.
Never
It's
happened
like-
again.
And it's like, oh, he fell off. All right, I'm just gonna be 20 and 10. And I'm just not gonna turn the ball over. Like that. If that is your point guard, if your point guard is 20 and 10, no turnovers, you are going to be fantastic. You are going to be fine. And if the Pacers were any other team or had a player like if you had Tyrese with a more traditional wing that's like a go-getter, bucket getter, right? KD type, obviously best case scenario, whatever. But if you had him with that is a match made in heaven. And so your offense is gonna be fantastic.
Siakam is that to some regard diet version, obviously, but he is a go-to scorer on block isolation, and they fit pretty goddamn well. The Pacers are a good team.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have the best version of that, there is a world where Tyrese Halliburton can lead a championship level team.
Yeah.
I truly do believe that even with his defensive flaws, he can be an engine for a team that is very, very good and makes a deep playoff run. I mean, listen, they made the conference finals last year. Obviously, right, context, but still, it happened. You've seen Halliburton, even when he wasn't playing his best, still be able to be an engine for a team that makes a deep playoff run. Now that he has kind of like stabilized and all that stuff, he's awesome. He's awesome. So yeah, he's at 9. And then
Besides Franz, everybody on this tier for you are people that, like I've said earlier, all episode, can be stars that can play next to other stars and make people better. Jaren Jackson, it might win DPOY. Well, he's hurt now, so maybe not. But was on track to maybe win DPOY after Victor Wembanyama got hurt. Made a scoring leap, can shoot off ball. Clearly fits at other stars. Halliburton clearly fits other stars. We see Darius Garland right now play with goddamn 3 other stars. Chet is perhaps the best fitter with stars in the NBA.
Yeah, why is Chet so much lower than Jaren Jackson Jr.?
or so much higher.
Yeah, my bad. So much higher.
It's a personal bias.
He's way better defensively. We can say that. He's way. I understand Jackson's a great defender.
Mm-hmm.
Chet is the second best rim protector in the NBA. He is generational.
Chet's more, his defense is more game changing than Jaren Jackson's. And again, it's just a personal preference.
What is it? Say it with your chest. Don't dance around it.
Want me to say it for you? Jaren Jackson Jr. averages 5 rebounds a game. He is 6'11". He plays half his minutes at center. Get your big ass in the paint. That's what he wants to say.
It's 2025. Things just don't look the same anymore.
I can't do it. I need, and this has been a thing throughout his career. I need 7. Like, I need 7 rebounds a game. Like, please. It hurts to look at the box score and see him averaging 5 rebounds a game. Also, like, he's 6'11". He's not the best scorer at the rim, which is also like, you're that big. I do need you to be much better in that area as well. So those two things are always just like pet peeves of mine, to where like you might drop down a little bit below, but the season he's having is fantastic. We talked about the Grizzlies all this whole time. and he has taken a leap, and so he is great. Everybody else on this list, and you will see with the Magic guys. Apparently, I'm just in love with the Orlando Magic. Like, it's just not their fault, you know. So like, I'm gonna give Franz some love, and I'm gonna give Paolo some love as well. But Halliburton, Garland, Holmgren, they are game changers.
Okay, I can understand that. I understand that. When it comes to Garland, I love that me and you are like super lockstep. I'm assuming we're the highest on him compared to Isaac. I'm sure if Isaac wouldn't mind putting him in the top 10 without a doubt, because his game is so fucking just bulletproof, stamped. Like, I've had my concerns when it comes to Garland, seeing him play against much bigger teams like the Boston Celtics, but regardless of the matter, like, he's always going to be effective on the court no matter what, because he's a threat from so far out from distance, and also his ability to play make is just special.
I've changed my list on the fly. Chet Holmgren, welcome to 6. Jaren Jackson, welcome to 8. I swapped him. I don't care. I didn't do it at first because, shout out, after we talked about it,
This is breaking TD3 rules and violations. You do not change your list on the fly.
That's actually false. We've done that so many times.
You do what you want when you make the graphics. You do what you want when you make the graphics. Chet, you are at 6. I simply think he's better than Jaren Jackson. I think he's a better defender, more valuable. Offensively, when he's at center, he is just as lethal attacking. He's way more, I shouldn't say that. He's way more lethal attacking off the dribble as a center than he is as a power forward. That's why he hasn't looked quite as explosive coming back playing next to iHeart. There's a reason he plays center. He's fantastic attacking mismatches there. His spacing is incredible from that position. The size, he's a better rebounder, albeit just a little bit. He's also not an amazing rebounder. But the defense, there's levels to this shit. Chet is a different tier of defender than Jaren Jackson. And he is just the most scalable star in the league, which I guess I'm being generous calling him a star already.
Wow, man.
But scalable player. Swapping him. Now, I did put him above Paolo Banchero, which I didn't mean to do. I meant to swap his other two, but I'll stand on it. Fuck it. I'm still picking Chet Holmgren over Paolo any day of the week.
You know what? I'm not even going to argue that whatsoever. I feel like Jaren Jackson Jr. is being disrespected just a bit. Like, I think
10.
Seeing he's top 10 for sure.
I got him one spot below you.
He's top 10 for sure, but I think I'm more so stuck on the Chet versus Jaren Jackson Jr. thing. The defense, I can't have much of a conversation for. The rebounding, of course, I can't have any conversation when it comes to, because he is 5 rebounds versus 7, 8 rebounds. It's still better at the end of the day. But Jaren Jackson's ability to score, I think he's just straight up, flat out a better scorer.
Chet was making that leap. Chet was making, and now so J-Dub, he's hurt for a little bit. You will see over the next couple of games, you're gonna see a return of
You are.
Of scoring Chet Holmgren. So Chet, if even if Jaren Jackson Jr. is averaging 25 a game, if Chet Holmgren is averaging 22 or 23, his defense is that much better to where 22 and 10 with 3 blocks a game from Chet, that's going to be better in my eyes than 25 and 5.
He's also, Jaren's averaging 22. And Chet's going to get pop back up 19 or so after, the slow start, not a lot of games. And again, that's just box score watching. Jaren's going to average more because he's going to shoot more. He's going to shoot
5
more.
rebounds, I understand that.
He's going to shoot more than Chet does. He's going to average more points. And you look at what, besides the box score, he's going to be more impactful. Very clearly, especially defensively.
You'll see in June.
Well, you see the Grizzlies go outside?
No. He'll see the Thunder in June.
Oh, win the finals?
He'll see Chet's value.
But again, tonight is the first night post J-Dub when they put Chet back at center. 23 points, 15 rebounds. I think you'll see this continue to get back on track.
It's not box score watching when it comes to looking at how well these, the shooting difference is really there. Jaren Jackson Jr. is generally one of the 3 best big man shooters that the entire NBA has to offer from the 3-point line specifically. And Chet is just not there. He has that ability. I've seen him over the course of last year do that, but in the players, in the playoff, that shit just withers away. We've seen that last year again. Fucking rookie year. I'm not
Well, we haven't even seen
that
this version of Jaren Jackson and him being the leap in the playoffs yet either. So
Jaren's also not as efficient as you think. I know what you're getting at. He is a tough shot diet, so it's Chet's more efficient. Right now, it's about the same true shooting because Chet had that terrible game. He's only played 20. So
yeah, I can't look at that for
Chet's going to be more efficient. Jaren does have a harder shot diet. Only kinda. It's not like I think you have a outsized idea of how efficient he is. He's 22 points per game on good efficiency.
I don't think Jaren is that much more. I just think he's a better scorer. That's literally it. I think his game is more polished naturally because he's older, been in the league for a minute. I think his game is more fine-tuned right now.
Yeah, and
I can't be...
That's initially why I did do that. He's 25. He's a little bit more advanced, so that's why I ranked him higher too. But when we talked through it, I was like, fuck that. Give me Chet. Yeah, in 15 games, I will not have concerns about Chet. Let me just stand on it.
I don't have any concerns right now.
I don't either, but I just tried to like account for it with like a little bit. But I also didn't do that for Paolo. I gave him all the benefit of the doubt and put aside my biases. So I'm gonna do the same shit for Chet. Put him higher. I've always wanted him over Paolo. I'm sticking with it.
All right, let's go. Top
Okay.
five.
Top five time?
Top five.
Top five. Donovan, who's your top five?
At number 5, I have Evan Mobley. At 4, I have Paolo Banchero. 3, Cade Cunningham. 2, Anthony Edwards. And at 1, Victor Wembanyama.
Who I have? I have 5 Zion Williamson, 4 Evan Mobley, 3 Cade Cunningham, 2 Anthony Edwards, 1 Victor Wembanyama.
Fair for you.
And you know the thing is, now that I'm thinking about it, I put Zion at 5, right? Because I understand he's injury prone. I understand he will break my heart and get hurt again.
You're gonna
It is a cycle. I can't account for that in any rational way. I can't, like, there's no way to put that into a rational, like, numerical base. Not numerical, that's the wrong way to put it. But like analysis.
In like an actual like tangible
Yeah,
way.
tangible is the right word. I can't tangibly apply that, so I just ignore it, which I understand. That's just a personal choice. Now that I'm thinking about it, I also think he's better than Cade Cunningham right now.
Yeah, I honestly, Cade. I love Cade. I love Evan Mobley, but dude, Zion Williamson is just that much better of a player when he's there.
But with that being said, Cade and Mobley are playing good enough, so it's not
No, your sentence just scared me. Can you put up his top 5?
Yeah, Cade and Mobley are close enough to Zion's level that I went with them because there is no reliability issues, and they're also playing amazing. But if I had to win one game today, I'd pick Zion third. But I'm okay with putting him at 5. I'm not going to change it.
Let's roll mine in. All right, so number 5, I got Cade. 4, Zion Williamson. 3, John Morant. 2, Anthony Edwards. And 1, Victor Wembanyama.
Obviously, I'm okay with Zion. John Morant.
I completely forgot that he didn't
Me
put John
too.
Morant.
John 3 is nut shit. What the fuck?
I love John Morant so much.
I can tell.
I see what Taylor Jenkins is doing to him in his game, and I understand it. But, brother, you need to leave tomorrow. I need to see John Morant placed as the number 1 option. I need to see offense catered around John Morant once again. I need to see John Morant be the face of this team. I love Jaren Jackson Jr. ball, but I've seen Ja do too many special things early in his career to be snatched
But they're
away.
a better offense now playing this way.
Come on, but you haven't seen that from Ja in 2 years.
And they're better
reason,
now
though.
this way. Like, they are a better offensive
Yeah,
team.
for a very
They
clear
have a
reason.
better.
What are we
They have a
talking about?
better floor for sure.
And still,
But when
they're a
it come-
top 10 offense. They were never that with Ja. Especially, let me say, I don't know what their main offensive ratings were. They were never a top 17 half-court offense. They were more often around 25 in half-court offense playing the Ja Morant ball you love so much.
I agree, but I think that's more roster issues than like
It's
John
a
Morant
good-ass
and
roster,
his like
man.
limitations, bro. Like the roster has been good. It's been, I would say, great. One of the better rosters that a team has been able to put alongside their young star, their young player. They empowered him.
When they've been healthy over the last like 3 years, they've either been the 2 or the 3 seed. Like, their roster is fine. You've had an all NBA player / all-star / 2 all-stars on your team for a majority of this,
we
this era.
can't play the help thing.
But is the
I'm
roster
not- I'm-
fine enough to see him?
Yes.
Is it fine enough to witness him like lead his team to an NBA championship run? That's what I'm saying. right now. That's
He's
why
part of that problem. He wasn't good enough as a lead engine. They had to change it up because it wasn't giving you the fruits. Also, part of that, I think, is to your just like reliability injury wise. That doesn't have to do with his ability, but there was never a time in which they performed in a good offensive level. So, like, if your best player is the guy who has a ball in his hands and your offensive ratings aren't good, and then you change that dynamic and now it is good, I feel like part of that is applied to him. It's not completely out of his hands.
Also, once again, your logic is just off.
How? Okay, how?
Ja Morant does not play for 2 weeks straight at all. He just doesn't do that.
He's a lot more injury prone than Chet Holmgren.
He legitimately
He
is.
has more of a sample size, obviously, yes. But when it comes to John Morant, I see him and his special abilities glaring clear as day. He is a final product. Chet, he's still pending in my defense. I'm not talking
His
about
defense is a lot better than Ja's offense. A lot better.
Ja Morant.
Immediately, as soon as
If
he
you
gets the
view it
league.
like that, then I can understand.
We have not seen Ja Morant be in a playoff game since April of 2023. The last playoff game that he played, he went 3 for 16.
Okay, well, to be fair, that was the Lakers series. AD shut them down. Also, all his bigs got hurt. So I won't hold that one against him. But he
Three-
did not perform well. But there's some context.
Now that all 3 for 16. Also missed the game in that series.
I think he also hurt his hand in that series.
Yes. Ja Morant has been injury prone. Even after he came back from the suspension, he played 9 games, and then guess what happened? He got hurt.
Yeah.
Like if he's on the court consistently, you are looking at him and you're like, oh
I
wow,
won't lie.
this is crazy.
You're in a bit of a bind. I'm not gonna lie.
How am I in a bind?
The Chet Holmgren, the injury, the consistency.
No,
here, we're in a bit of a bind here.
No, it's not. If you hear what I'm talking about when it comes to seeing, I don't think Chet is a finalized product just yet. I need to see a little bit more consistency from his game right now.
But even
and
then,
I've seen that already when it comes to
But even then, you're
the proof is in
docking
the pudding.
Chet. But you're docking Chet.
Yeah.
For
You're not docking them. Simply put, you're docking Chet for injury. You're mentioning
Not only
injuries.
injured, that's where you're missing. I'm saying
I know.
he's
I didn't
not
say
a
only.
final.
I didn't say
Okay.
only. But you're docking him for injury. You said
Alongside
you put him
him being a final
at,
product.
you'd put him at 12 if it wasn't for the injuries. Whereas,
alongside him being a final
whereas
product.
you're putting them at their ceiling and not factoring
because they
injuries.
are a final product.
That doesn't matter.
That matters for me, not to you.
I
But
know,
that's
but
where
two
you're missing this argument.
But that's why it's not consistent.
But 2 things. One, and to be fair to them, you don't know if they're at their final product.
They're
right?
a lot closer than Chet,
don't-
though. That's what I'm
But
saying.
even then,
Naturally.
even if I am like further along in my race, Chet might just be that good that me at 20% is better than you at 50. You know what I'm saying? Like Chet has proven to be that impactful. And again, Zion doesn't play.
Brother, when he's on the court, he is one of the 12, 11 best players in the entire
let's jump
NBA.
in. Zion
There's
deserves
nothing
to be
that
top
I can
five.
say about that. I'm not arguing about Zion Williamson.
No,
he is
we'll
legitimately
jump
better
in.
than 10 play. Bro, I can't name that many players better than when he's on the court.
Let's beat his ass with
when it
hammers.
comes to the Chet, I don't care. I just don't care.
Zion Williamson has been in the NBA for 6 years.
Yes.
First season, 24 games.
Yes.
Third season, did not play. Fourth season, 29 games. This year, 27 games. He has 4 of his 6 seasons where, and we can take this one out because it's still going. He has what? 3 of his 5 seasons where he has played less than 30 games. And you're going to sit here and tell me that he's top 4.
You know why? Because when he's played every single game that he's played
Go-
in, for the most part, he looks like the best player on the court.
Oh,
that
good.
is so fucking crazy. Do you know how good you have to be to miss that much time and still look like that guy on the court? That's
his ass.
generational.
Kick his ass.
That is crazy.
I hope you like going 21-61 with your best player playing less than 30 games a year.
Well, that's never happened.
21 and
That's never happened.
You understand what I'm saying?
I
You
do,
understand
but
what I'm saying.
it does matter to say
obviously,
that.
Obviously, I'm trying to jump in, but I need
Brother,
you to think with
I
me.
seen
And
this
you do
dude
that.
Zion Williamson.
If you're not going to help me, stay quiet. You know what I'm saying?
I seen this dude Zion
I was
Williamson.
trying to be loud and dramatic, and you kind of killed it.
Just last year, when there's Anthony Davis and LeBron James on the court, he looks like he is the best player
And then
on the
guess
court.
what happened?
He dropped 40 on their heads.
And guess
he got
what
hurt,
happened?
but he dropped 40 on their heads still.
And then he
40.
got hurt.
40. And I'm talking about when he's on the court. I'm taking out everything aside. I understand. He looks generational, dude. Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Not a single player on this list outside of maybe Anthony Edwards and Wemby can have the same effect on the court. Not a single one. You can't name another player. Chet, I love Chet. He's just not like that yet. I love Ja Morant, Cade, Mobley. He's not doing the same things on the court on a broader
Mobley-
level compared to Zion.
Mobley right now, especially
Okay.
in this situation.
Let's move on past the screaming argument about these 2 injury-prone players that are injury-prone. Either you care or you don't. I don't.
Ridiculous.
I don't care, but you have to care or you have to don't care. The skill of those players doesn't affect whether or not you care about injuries or not. But names you mentioned, I understand. Zion's way better than Chet right now. Evan Mobley might just be better. Evan Mobley's
That's-
two-way ability, he is close to Chet. Him and Chet, he's the only one on this list besides Victor Wembanyama who you could tell me is as good, if not better, of a defender than Chet. Those are the top 3 defenders on this list, easily. Evan Mobley's leap he made this year as a scorer on ball is incredible. We worried last year about the 2 big lineup, in part because there was 2 non-spacers, and JB Bickerstaff didn't do a good job of that, right? We've glazed the shit out of Kenny Atkinson all year for putting him in the better position to succeed and figuring it out. It also helps when Evan Mobley becomes one of the best big man attackers of mismatches in the NBA, and he can shoot threes now at a very effective level. He is straight up He's straight up better than Chet right now. That's why I didn't even consider that, despite my preconceived biases toward Chet.
Yeah.
He's way better attacking off the dribble. He is amazing attacking smaller defenders. He does it in this big plotting way where he just backs them down and just uses these long ass limbs to reach around and finish over them. He can legitimately shoot threes now. Be a DPOY. He'll probably win it now. Great on the boards. He got a lot stronger. Uses that on both sides of the ball. You could argue that he's, like, even health aside, a better two-way, more impactful player than Zion because of the lack of off-ball skills, the lack of skill next to other stars, the lack of defensive value for Zion, who's just average at best defensively. You could just say Evan Mobley's straight up the better player now. It's not ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous to say that at all.
Cade's tough. I'm giving. I don't know if I know if Cade's tough. Very tough. Is he better than Evan Mobley?
I think
That's
so.
a debate. I went towards him, but it's close. The playoffs will tell me a lot about Cade. I went there because I anticipate Cade being a playoff problem because he has similar skill sets to Tyrese Halliburton in the crazy fast decision making as a passer. That I think he's kind of like Tyrese Halliburton with good defense and with a in-between scoring bag. So I think that'll translate to a playoff setting perfectly. That's why I went with him over Mobley. But that's a debate. Like, if we're talking, like, in our minds on, like, 2K overalls, they're the same goddamn overall.
Yeah, they are. I'm giving Cade the nod just because the one time that we've seen him with an average situation,
He's a beast.
he's an all-star, right? Like, and I think, like, that growth and that jump, and then obviously, like, being the one option and the leader and the engine of the team and all that, like, obviously, like, Mobley can play on a lot of teams, and he is valuable on a lot of teams. Cade Cunningham is the same way, where if you put him, like if you put Cade Cunningham on the Magic and you swap him out for one of the
Different
forwards,
team, bro.
it's a completely different team. And obviously, we've talked all about that team's poor spacing. Cade Cunningham is fantastic, and if he is average, the Pistons are having one of their best seasons in a long time. And why? It's because Cade Cunningham got Tobias Harris and Malik Beasley and Tim. Like, that's the reason. The moment you get adults in the room and people who can be league average and in that way, there is a world where the Detroit Pistons end up as the 4 seed out east.
That's an insane extension, bro.
That's a real possibility, and Cade Cunningham has been a massive factor in that.
He's still not an efficient scorer. That's still a problem. And if he was that, he would be above Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
So he's so good and leading a team so well despite not being that efficient because the playmaking is at that level. He does provide defensive value. He has some shot blocking capabilities to point guard, which is crazy valuable to have with that kind of size at your one. It gives you a big floor defensively and makes it easier to hide a guy like Jalen Duren who struggles at times defensively. And again, the only thing missing is reliable inside the arc scoring. That's still not pretty. He still struggles to get to the rim and is too prone to back to the basket, like post-up touches when he doesn't create a good mismatch. That keeps him around league average true shooting. But man, it doesn't matter when that passing is at that level and you pick teams apart that well. It would be a luxury. If he was efficient, he would be a top 10 player in the league. And some people treat him like he is already. There's a little bit too much glazing in that way, which I understand it. Like glazing him like he's on top of the world right now. Give him credit. I'm not going to be like, he's not as good as you think.
Yeah.
He's probably not. For those people that are like, he's an MVP candidate already, he's not that. But he's a top 20 player in the world.
Yeah.
Probably top 15.
I agree.
This year he's top 15.
Literally, as soon as we made our top 30 ranking, he went fucking berserk.
Yeah, I
and he
regretted
went
it
on the
immediately.
and he was cooking like no other, bro.
Yeah.
I agree with you for all those things. I see him in his game, and I wish I could put him a little bit higher, but there's just a certain framework where I just haven't seen yet. There's a library of work where, again, I haven't seen yet. And I think he can get there. I think he can find a way to be top 4, top 3 in these conversations for sure. But as of now, I'm going to refrain from that.
Mobley, so obviously I hate the Chet thing. Mobley is the other one I don't like. Like, you had him at 12, I think?
I will put him, I think I had him at 11, but I will put him higher for sure.
Okay.
If I could change that,
You'll concede on that one?
yeah, when it comes to Mobley, again, I think he's going to be the defensive player of the year if it wasn't for Wemby being out. And I don't know about the Jaren Jackson Jr. thing. I still think Mobley's better defensively than him. But yeah, I can definitely give him kudos for his growth offensively last year, mid-season, or maybe it was year and a half ago or whatever. I forget who said. I think it was Tim Bontemps or something like that. He said that he
Derek Favors.
was he was comparing him to Derek Favors, bro,
He
which
said
is
it's giving
absolutely
Derek Favors.
yeah, exactly. It was the most damning but accurate thing that I've heard in a long time.
it's giving Favors. It's giving
Brandon
Derek.
Clockett.
Fuck off, Tim. Yeah, that was crazy. When we all thought that was crazy at the time, we thought it was crazy. We were also like,
It was funny though.
it was funny. We said like, that's ridiculous. He's young, but we were like, you gotta develop, Evan. We need you to
Yeah.
deduct these allegations. We need you to do something about this. Make him forced him to respect you. And he did. That's
he got some
precisely what we did this year.
respect.
We asked him to improve, and he did. He's on schedule, and he's still he can get a lot better. So like he can.
Yeah.
He could be. If you tell me next season, the end of next year, we consider him a top 10 player in the NBA, I'm not gonna predict it, but I will not be shocked.
I think I'll be surprised a little bit, but yeah, it won't be the craziest thing at all because his skills all
If
around.
he becomes the best player on that team,
That'll
People debate that now. Like it's not that won't be shocking at all. What he needs is the in between scoring to come more. He needs the jump shot developments to become off the dribble mid range jump shot developments. If he can do that and like get more like a little post fade going on, he runs like some inverted pick and rolls and like does that slow prodding thing.
Yeah.
If he can get to some like Kevin Garnett mid range jumpers from that, Donovan Mitchell, your spot is not secure.
that leap, man. If
he
he
just
is able to
becomes
make
Kevin
that leap,
Garnett.
bro.
Low-key. A little bit
Shit.
slower, Kevin Garnett, low-key.
If he makes that leap, man.
He doesn't have the passing though, but yeah.
yeah.
His
Outside of
passing's
that.
not bad though either.
Sure, but
It's
Kevin
not bad.
Garnett is
It's-
like
oh yeah, you're right.
yeah.
It's not comparable. But again, like passing to me when it comes to Evan Mobley, seeing how he's able to direct traffic sometimes for guys like Jared Allen and throw lobs and all that easy dump off passes, like I can see a world where he becomes a top 10 player for sure without a doubt.
Oh, you have Paolo at 4. You're glazing.
Oh, he's glazing super hard right now.
Yeah, but if we're gonna
Over
talk to him
Mobley?
glazing, you're glazing hard too.
I have to defend him.
Yeah, I get it. Whatever.
Nobody else will defend him. I have.
I gave him 7. I feel like that's fair. I don't think.
No,
I'm-
it is fair. It's not his fault, man.
Again, as soon as the league average true shooting is like 56.5, 57, depending on the year. The second I see a season in which he finishes higher than that, you can have it. He can be top 5. But if your guy is a bucket getter who's he's a solid defender.
Yeah.
But if he's a bucket getter that doesn't get buckets that well, I'm not putting him above someone like Evan Mobley. Get the buckets well for a whole season.
I'll talk to you in October.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm being reductive. I'm joking. Like he did get hurt. There is some things, but it's the third year of this shit. Consistently get buckets at a high level, and then you can be one-dimensional bucket getter. That's allowed. You just got to do it well, and you
Yeah.
must be efficient if you're going to be a volume scorer without playmaking, without a style of play that I shouldn't say without playmaking. He's a good passer. No, it is. He's a good passer, but not a good playmaker. That whole like distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does not lead good offense with his pace, but he can pass the ball. He can make accurate passes.
Yeah, he has that ability.
He just doesn't
for sure.
create advantages very well. But once he learns how to do that, the passing will really explode.
Different conversations. If he's able to do that, I think I can put him as high as like
Yeah.
the peak version of Paulo, which I had for the those are the expectations I had from earlier in the season, is top 3 on this list without a doubt.
Paolo low-key like makes me break a lot of my basketball philosophies with how much slack I'm willing to give him for sucking at so many important skills, because I know that there's a world in which he doesn't suck at those skills because he gets older and gets better, and then everything will really come together to being a beast. Like I'm giving him so much grace because I think the ceiling is so amazing, even though we haven't seen it in a lot of ways, that I don't ever do that for most people. So
I know.
I'm running out of patience. Next year will be the year where I make or breaks it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree.
That's fair. That's
I like doing these so much because it's literally an ongoing storyline.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that's necessarily like set up and there's no real like
It's not
proof in the
stale.
pudding.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's constant flux and there's gonna be a player in this tier, a la someone like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from a couple years ago who just makes an absurd leap and he's literally gonna become a top 5 player.
Besides one being Ant.
Yeah, besides Wemby, because they're already there.
I don't know. It might just be them because those two are going to be there.
If you were to like cash all your chips, who is most likely to like make that next leap?
I don't think Cade has that ceiling because I don't think he has the physical traits to be a dominant scorer, like efficiency wise. Because he's always going to be jump shot reliant because he's just not that fast. So I don't think he's ever going to be an elite rim finisher. And that would be what Cade has to do to hit that level. I just don't think he's that quick. So I'm not going to go him.
You want Mobley?
I mean, Zion's a good bet if he'd ever got healthy, but we'd have to be
Yeah.
hoping for the best injury reversal like in NBA history. You don't often see guys this down bad immediately become healthy. So that's hard. So I guess you got to go Mobley.
Yeah, my bet is either.
Oh no, I
probably-
might go Chet.
I'd go Chet.
I don't think Chet is top 5, but he's certainly going to be top 10 in the league. People don't get credit when they're defensive slanted. Like Rudy
That's fair.
Gobert is never considered top 10, even though he's one of the most dominant defensive seasons we've ever seen.
That's fair.
But he's also a lot better offensively than Rudy Gobert, so maybe not.
All right, it's fine. I do think that Chet's offense is. I think that he's gonna have partially the most room to grow offensively.
Absolutely.
because especially like from whatever we're gonna see in this playoff run, if J-Dub's offense doesn't get to a certain level, there's gonna be space and a need for Chet to grow his offensive game and to start like creating for himself off the dribble, attacking even more.
He already does that a good amount. We act like he doesn't. He does that a good amount.
He's gonna have to like, because obviously like J-Dub is a creator. They're gonna ask for more out of Chet offensively, and especially if it's proven like 2 years in the playoffs, if we don't see J-Dub take that leap forward, Chet is going to have to
Ascend.
ascend and do that. So I think that there's a possibility of him having that responsibility. So I will take him to get to the top 5.
Yeah, him and Mobley are the best bets. And
Yeah.
you're asking Chet to put on muscle and add onto that frame to be more physically dominant, and you're asking Mobley to add more shooting touch. Whatever bet you like more, that's the one you should take.
For me personally, I'm gonna stick to Mobley, and then also probably someone like Paolo Banchero. Zion Wilson is naturally,
Paolo's the option. Yeah.
Yeah, so naturally, of course, like Zion, in my mind, he's literally an anomaly. Like he just doesn't make any sense, and he can just break so much shit. He's the definition of that. I'm sorry. So if he just gets it together, he's the clear cut.
He really is an anomaly. That's actually honestly like a good nickname for him. The way he moves is not regular.
Yeah.
But you're right, I forgot. Paolo is the best answer because, like you said, if Paolo, I think Paolo needs a new coach. Honestly,
Yeah, I think he needs a new coach.
I wasn't
and
trying to
just,
say
like,
anything,
Me
'cause,
neither.
like, but like
shout out to
I don't
Jamal.
know. I don't know enough about their assistant. They need new assistants at the very least to reconfigure their offense. He has bad habits that nobody wants to talk about because they think the habits are cool. And they think the bucket getting shit is like cool.
But the leg sleeve, the headband, the tattoos.
Yeah, they think he has
rocker
aura.
steps.
His habits are, he has some like, I don't know, ego habits a little bit. Like set some hard screens, Paolo, keep the ball moving, like do the small stuff. That's hard to, I think you see that a lot from young scorers. I think he needs new assistants or a new head coach to like instill that in him because that's the
Yeah.
biggest part. Buying in on small skills is really
I
important.
need
for
to
him.
see the maturity in his game for sure. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
All right, man. That's our 25 under 25.
I can't wait to see what happens next year and what player just like ascends and what player just like
I'm fuming.
remains at a
You're
certain
fuming?
level.
I'm fuming.
What are you feeling about Zion?
Yeah, I'm still upset.
You
Dude,
knew
I'm
that was
so
gonna
mad
happen.
he's so
No, no.
good.
We've had this like debate in like every single player ranking we've
And
ever done. We always go back to the Zion injury thing, and we've fully comprehended the fact that some of us are going to care, some of us aren't, and we still get mad about it.
It's just crazy. Because honestly, and like over the course of this conversation, I've been thinking, and it's like, I knew he was going to be high for you guys. I really do think that injury and like availability and that skill, trait, whatever, is kind of rising up for me a little bit more, just because
Yeah.
every single year you look at the teams who make the deep playoff runs and it's like, who's the healthiest? And being able to be available for your team is a really, really big thing when you look at a lot of the most successful teams. So that's why, especially if you're like the number one option, being available is so important to me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy at all. I'm not like, I do not want anybody misconstrue
Yeah.
me saying I think it's like dumb to care about injuries. I don't think that at all. I just
It's
think,
more so like for your like rankings, I think you look at people more in a vacuum than
yeah,
I
I think in terms of who you'd rather take to build around, you need to care about that.
Yeah.
For a exercise of ranking and
it's,
like the
it's
mental.
more, it's more like 2K overalls for you, where you're like, who do I think is like better?
No, I would say who impacts the game more, but
Okay.
it's like it's not 2K overalls for me explicitly. But for the mental exercise of ranking players, I want to keep this like what they do when they're on the court and how they impact winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that instance, when that's the equation, it's so arbitrary. You can be arbitrary when you're talking about who I'd rather have because it's just like
Yeah, like if this is just a straight up like player ranking, then this list would probably look a little bit different. But this is like top 25 under 25. And there's a little bit of flux and flex to that to me.
I'm not even saying that necessarily. That also makes sense, I guess. But I just when I want to rank a player how good they are, I want to focus on how good they are, not how much I'd want them on my roster necessarily. Because that's different. That's a different equation. 'Cause then we have to factor other elements that are outside of how good they are. At that point, if you're gonna get the fucking contracts and who they are as people,
and that's where
shit.
the top 30 for me, like that's where I like have those influences in my mind.
I'd rather keep it like level, and it's hard to do that with the injury thing because that's just like asking for biases to be entered in. Because there's other players that are also injury prone to varying degrees, and you're gonna factor in this one because it's so dramatic, but not the other one proportionally, and that gets kind of hard for me. I'd rather just remove that factor.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I just think at the top of it,
I get it. It's not crazy.
It's fine.
yeah. So
With that being said, it's on the TikTok time.
Here we go.
let's roll.
TikTok time. We prevail. Let's go.
iPad in the building.
This is his first appearance over here in the new studio. Legendary things will be made and done with this thing. I'm letting you know that right now.
All right.
I'm not playing fair.
It's a legendary sale on the way. Stay tuned.
Woo! How about you say it?
Welcome back to Mo Whoops Their Ass in TikTok time.
All right, we're never doing that again. Welcome back. We're never doing that again. Welcome to TikTok time. As usual, we're going to start with a draft. This time we're going to do a draft of only players who played for the Cleveland Cavaliers at some point in their career. The draft order is Mo, me, Donovan. So Mo gets blessed. What's new? You better not sell.
Why would I sell? It's never sold anything a day in my life.
You're right. It's not your nature. My bad. I should have known better. You're different.
With this iPad, I literally am.
Yeah, sure. You're moving different this year. 2025 Mo. What's it? March Mo.
March Mo. No, I'm actually going on a run, bro.
All right, so you guys know how this works. Let's see who can build the best lineup. Mo, where are we starting with this draft?
LeBron James. Clap it up for me.
Bronny
Clap it up
James,
for me.
okay.
This list is now over.
You gonna put a small forward?
Naturally.
Whack ass pick, whatever. Give me Shaquille O'Neal at center.
Weak.
Old grumpy man. He's ruining the vibes for your locker room, bro.
I'm picking him as a player, not a media personality.
You as a player, bro, but okay.
Shooting
I'm
guard.
not picking him as a good teammate. I'm picking him as an ability to dunk.
Shooting guard. Dwayne Wade.
Fair enough. It's people probably forget. People are gonna see this and be like, "Oh, he played for the Cavs. I forgot."
He
We should just
did.
block that out of our memories. It wasn't good. It wasn't good for the legacy of Dwayne Wade or the team. But hey, you can draft him.
It was kind of cool, though. It was kind of cool.
It wasn't even that cool. I can't lie to you.
He's a LeBron ride or die, bro. It's a bromance.
I didn't think it was very cool.
And that's why for positional value, at my power forward, Evan Mobley.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Okay.
Who do I want to pair with Shaq? Give me MVP Derrick Rose.
Okay.
Interesting pick from you.
Yeah, I mix it up a little bit.
MVP.
If I pick the same players every time, it doesn't get interesting.
Okay, I like it. Okay. So,
Playing to the comments. Know your audience.
I think I'm going to roll with someone like Donovan Mitchell at my 2.
LeBron and D Mitch together would be amazing.
That'll be fucking nasty.
It's just like LeBron and Kyrie, but maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't slaughter me. They will.
And then, for the sake of, again, positional value, at my 4, give me Sean Marion.
Fuck, I was right about to pick him.
Yeah!
I hate that.
Yeah!
This guy is such a cheater. You got fucking LeBron James.
It's the iPad, not me.
Well, what do you need next to Shaquille O'Neal? Shooting. Give me Kevin Love.
Okay. There we go.
Space that floor. And for Derrick Rose, need it.
All right. Well, at this point, you know what? At my center, I would like Jared Allen.
Nice.
Proven concept. I understand.
I like that. I like that a lot. And I'm gonna need a 3. I'm gonna need somebody who can guard LeBron. Really, nobody can guard LeBron, but you got to make him
You're
work.
setting yourself up.
Lou Aldang, welcome to the squad.
Oh, brother, this is a throwback. Holy shit.
That's a good pick.
That's
Okay.
a great pick. Yeah.
There's very little forwards here. Give me prime, young, with hair, a little bit of it. Richard Jefferson at the 3.
Okay.
Give me Richard
Okay.
Jefferson.
Okay.
This team
Okay.
is mid.
Okay. Whew. So I need a 1 and I need a 5.
Nah, yeah, I mean, listen, you're building like, kind of like.
I'm building a fantastic, nasty ass team. They all mesh together so well. Give me something that I've seen before. Kyrie Irving at my point guard position, and to round this all out. At my 5, I can go so many ways, but I see that big motherfucker Shaq over there, bro. I need a real rim deterrence. I need someone who's gonna do something.
Kendrick Perkins?
Absolutely not, bro. Give me Ben Wallace. He played exactly 22 games
I
for
was
the Cleveland
hoping-
Cavaliers.
I was hoping you guys didn't know about that. I saw him and I thought you'd forget.
I need someone who's gonna body slam Shaq. He might not be able to do it, but he can try.
My cat's finna knocks him off the desk. You're about to hear noise. He's misbehaving. Hey. Gotta make all these noises so I get your attention.
You want me to play a cat attraction noise? It'll work. It'll attract the kitty.
Cat attraction? You finna do it with your mouth?
No,
Can you
not
make
with my
noises?
mouth, bro. Hell no. You never did that before?
Oh, you're gonna play on your iPad? Okay.
yeah,
I
my
thought you- I
iPad
thought
gives
you
me
were-
powers, bro.
I thought you were doing mating calls.
No, absolutely not.
It would
But
be
do you
very
want to
funny
see
if the
it?
cat doesn't.
I know.
Look.
Oh my god, her head perked up.
Look.
Oh my gosh, she's coming.
That's crazy.
I wish the audience could see her.
Look at it.
Oh my
She's gonna
God.
come up here.
She came over so fast. You guys can see her in the wide shot. Oh my god, she's all over Mo.
iPad Mo got superpowers. I'm in this bitch. I just won a draft and cat called. I'm unstoppable.
That's
That's actually
crazy.
crazy.
All right, you're torturing her. Turn it off now.
It's okay, kitty.
Listen, I need all the
Relax.
shooting I can get. I'm going small. Give me Darius Garland. Give me an off-ball shooter.
Darius Garland. Okay.
Yeah, listen, it's
Great
unconventional.
pick. I didn't think you were going to pair him with D Rose.
You're gonna pair another 2025 cap. That'd have been filthy.
I really was trying to do that. Okay. I need some more scoring. Like Dwayne Wade isn't enough. So we are gonna take. Listen, again, not a
You
lot.
said to be so nasty.
Not a lot of people remember, and I feel like I try to
here we
educate
go.
people.
I know.
There were times where it was Chris Paul or Darren Williams conversations. Give me Darren Williams.
Oh my god, this is such a you pick. And hey, I respect you.
Your spacing is horrendous. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
This is a mad 2014.
You could have picked
It
Mark
is.
Price.
It is 2004. Your
Could
team
have had a
is
spacer.
a phenomenal second round exit. Not gonna lie.
Oh my god, look at this cat on the couch.
Yeah, nah. I got some.
Nah,
time.
She's all over you now.
She's knocking over the Celsius.
Nah, she
Oh,
only
that's
talks over
too
small
cool.
things like mouses and AirPods and stuff.
It's gonna be so funny when she knocks it over.
I would be so upset. But all right, so I do not like my team, but it's not terrible. I do have Shaq and spacing. So
Shaq and spacing.
I have
very
Derrick
low
Rose,
defense.
Darius Garland, Richard Jefferson, Kevin Love, and Shaq. Hey, it's not too bad.
If you played this game in 2007, I'm giving everybody a run for their money.
I don't even think you would.
In 2007,
I have Shaq and Derrick Rose.
Shaq
Well,
and
Derrick
D-Rose
Rose was in college, so what's up?
Memphis was special.
So what's up?
Rounded out, I got Kyrie, D. Mitch, LeBron, Sean Marion, and Ben Wallace. This is arguably my best
You're
draft
telling
ever.
me again in 2007, right before we get the redeem team, you're telling me I get Darren Williams and Dwayne Wade?
No one give a damn about Darren Williams. I don't care.
Yeah, there's not a single great shooter on your team.
Yeah.
Shout out MLB Shooting League, but it's
Who's
good.
the best defender on your team? Richard
My team?
Jefferson?
Yeah, Shaq's low key a better defender than people think. But yeah, perimeter wise, Richard Jefferson.
Damn.
Yeah, you're getting blown by.
Hey, defend Shaq. I dare you. I dare you. Then when you're done with that, defend Derrick Rose.
First of all, Jared Allen is locking up Shaq, and then
Shaq?
and then he's gonna go play with Legos.
The light. Who are the lights too bright against? The Magic? And you think the lights are gonna be bright
He's
against
learned
Shaq?
from that experience.
iPad mode prevails again.
You got LeBron first picks.
Yeah, it's not whatever. Fuck you.
And Sean Marion. Sean Marion is where I changed his
No, that
tides.
was a good pick.
Yeah. Okay, he didn't sell for once. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna bring back a TD3 classic we haven't done in quite a long time in this regard. I'm gonna show you some NBA face swaps, and this time I don't want you to rate them. I want you to tell me which players they are combined.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean hair swaps. I'm gonna show you some NBA hair swaps, and I want you to tell me which players they are combined. So whose face and whose hair you're looking at. You'll know the face. Basically, I'm saying whose haircut is this?
Okay.
okay. This is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Man, I lost my man-knower title, but I got my iPad in my hands, and although I'm not using it to cheat, it gives me powers.
Okay. First up,
This guy's Mealy.
whose haircut is this on Anthony
This
Davis?
is kind of hard. Not gonna lie.
You fuck with this?
He might have to do this.
It's a good look for him.
He might have to do this. Yeah.
Yeah,
It fits.
he looked like he giving people 32 and 14 on every single night given.
Listen,
He looks like a college
was
basketball
trying.
player with this
He was
for some
trying.
reason. This gives me college basketball vibes. I don't know why.
He looks like another variation of like
Montrezl
DeAndre
Harrell.
Jordan. Montrezl Harrell's even Montrezl Harrell, he literally,
Yes,
he does.
He looks like a
All
light
right,
skinned Montrez.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Caldwell. This is John Moran.
I said Caldwell.
Cool ass, Phil.
a little bit of glaze there. But yep, this is John Morant's hair on Anthony Davis.
Okay.
It works. It's
fitting.
Solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can rate it too. Why not?
This is a move.
This is a solid 8 out of 10. Next up, we got Giannis.
Oh, God.
So rate it and tell me whose haircut it is.
All right, I'm rating this definitely I almost said 3.
I'm
Let's
going
go
3.
4.
I'm going 3 out of 10.
4 because it doesn't look terrible. You know who this looks like? Bro, that's Bilal Coulibaly. What are we talking about right now?
Oh my
Bilal, what's up?
That is
That's
Bilal.
Bilal
That's very funny.
Coulibaly.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He literally has the same move, bro. He got the headband, the braids, and all that.
Wow. You changed the way I look at Giannis's face.
Good
I
job.
think I may
Good,
put a 5 at this, bro.
good job. I guess, yeah, since it looks like an actual person, I'll go 5.
Yeah,
These
you
are-
can call Bilal ugly. You better give it a 5.
Where Bilal stands over here. Me personally.
There's no
I like
smoke
when
with
I see
Bilal. I didn't mean to say anything disrespectful.
Yeah.
If I did, I apologize.
Word to Bilal. This is a 10, bro.
Word to Bilal. Word to Koulibaly. Word to the French pronunciation.
Facts. Allen Iverson braids?
These are Allen Iverson's braids, correct.
Yeah.
Clap it up. Clap it up.
Next up, what are you rating this and whose hair is this on James Harden?
This is a Karen ass haircut, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a Chad haircut.
This feels like Shane Gillis in blackface. I don't like this.
Oh man.
This is like an orange polo shirt and some tan khaki shorts, some Dockers.
Yeah, he looks like a snitch with this haircut, bro. Just like not a good person.
This is the wig that Dave Chappelle will put on when he
He looks like he has a friend who's trying to get him an internship.
Whose hair is
His friend's dad is trying to get him an internship at
I
his
got all
company.
the connects, man. I swear. I
hair
get
is
you in
this?
right there.
Dude, it's all about who you know.
Some redhead.
I mean, it's obviously some white
Is
boy,
it?
but like
Is it Kevin Herter?
This is not Kevin. It's not red. It's not Kevin Herter.
Ah.
it's more brown.
Yeah.
Ooh man.
It's on you.
Is it on me?
It is.
Yeah, Mr. Mandover. You better reclaim that crown.
Bro, that was in like 2024.
Oh, you're washed?
You have the iPad. You said it gave you powers. We might be. I don't want to be cooked, but it's kind of looking like that.
Okay. Is this? Fuck. Yeah, I have no idea who this
This
is,
is
bro.
Demontis Sabonis' hair.
Oh man, I was gonna say Valanciunas. Goddamn wrong, dude.
He has brown hair.
What'd you think it was?
Black.
No,
Demontis
not black.
Sabonis?
No, not black.
I thought you were going to say blonde. No, it's light.
Yeah, it's
It is like
It's like a
looks
dirty
reddish.
blonde,
It
light
is
brown. Yeah.
yeah.
What were you going to say?
he do be at the salon. I see
He
that.
do.
my bad.
Getting his tones in.
We're getting this a solid rating? It's a solid 8 out of 10?
No, this is for
No,
sure.
no, it's definitely like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
I don't want to see.
So,
it.
no, it's ass. Let it be clear. It's not good.
Don't do this, James.
You know, I don't think you will. I'll go on a limb. You won't do this.
It's hard on the eyes.
We got Jason Tatum. More or less aura? Do you think,
Actually, more.
does this make Colin Cowherd consider him a superstar?
Brother, he can flip his hair now. This is a luck.
Exactly. When you close your eyes and you think of Jason Tatum and you see his locks, yes.
This looks like he'd be in the movie Dodgeball. It's like a costume, like a TV prop.
This is, I mean, it
The headband
looks
adds
like
so
a Disney
much.
Channel wig for sure.
But does it look oddly misplaced? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, low key kind of works. I'm giving this a 6 out of 10.
If he was to grow his hair out, I think it would look something like this, actually.
And
Okay.
I'm giving Jason Tatum and Kelly Olynyk's hair
Yep.
a 6 out of 10.
This is Kelly.
W. I agree.
Olynyk. Okay.
Oh, God.
We got Luka Doncic.
Bro, he has a lineup from hell. Who has this lineup in the league? Brother. It looks Sharpied on.
No,
Brother.
this is the worst. This is one of the worst we've ever seen.
He looks like a rejected gang member right now.
Whose haircut is this?
Who the hell is this?
I'm not trying to disrespect either with this high hairline.
He looks like an elbow.
It would be very funny if this was like Stephen A. Smith.
He looks like a Vienna sausage.
Yeah. Brother. Looks like a dirty thumb.
Or bologna vibes.
It's not LeBron.
Yes, it is. This is LeBron
No!
James.
No! No, not LeBron.
This is too dark to be LeBron.
What do you mean? His hair is black. What do you mean?
This is LeBron with that fiction. This is LeBron with the spray paint with the enhancements.
I take everything. I
This
take
is
everything
LeBron
back.
after going to see Sly Huncho.
No,
I gave him all the sauce in the
no.
city. With the sharpest razor in the city.
I hit him with another spice bomb.
10 out of 10. Fuck all that. 10. This prevails.
Listen, you
Hard
gotta
cut.
have your allegiances. This is a Luka. This is a look.
This is a look for sure.
Get that low taper fade.
This is awful.
He has a bright future ahead of him.
This is crazy. What about this? What about Michael Jordan?
Oh, he looks crazy, bro. I don't know what it is.
I kind of like it.
It kind of
What
goes.
do you
but then
mean? What is it? He
don't.
has green hair. Like,
I
he
kinda
looks
like it.
wild.
I kind of like it. I don't know, little Jolly Green Giant vibes.
Stop.
But it looks less serious. Like, I don't feel like he's gonna kill me. I think he's gonna
Yes,
try to
because he has
entertain me,
green
then
hair.
kill me.
Of course it looks less serious.
I think it's dope. I don't know. It doesn't look bad.
Stop it. He looks like he's going through a hard time in life.
Midlife crisis, Jordan. Deep in gambling debt. Fuck, you gotta change something up. Just to feel something.
I'm gonna give this a 3.
This is a 0 out of 10.
Ah, you guys are haters.
No, I'm
It
a hater.
works.
You're right. I think I'm gonna give it a 7 because it looks real.
It looks fine.
It looks
No,
real.
it does not look real. I'm going 0 out of 10. Is this a current player?
It's Dennis Robbins here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Dennis
It's not
Rodman for sure.
terrible. Listen, Jordan, I think it's not too late. Make it happen. Grow it out.
Don't do it.
It's far too late.
It's far too late. Shaquille O'Neal. It's far too late.
He said it's over, buddy. It's over.
We got Shaq.
He looks like a cartoon, bro.
He definitely looks like
He looked like he got a couple Kamehamehas in his shoulder, bro. In the tuck right now. Just
he looks like Jake the Dragon from that Cartoon Network show.
Yes, it does. Drake the American Dragon or whatever the
Yeah.
hell it is.
Very funny because I don't think this is the first mention of Jake the Dragon. I think,
Yeah,
I think
it
you mentioned
is.
him before.
It's a classic, bro.
Couple Kamehamehas is crazy. That's how Goku looked in the live action
Yes,
movie.
literally. The jersey doesn't help.
They had the white dude from Shameless with spiky hair. This is a 10 out of 10.
Bro, it breaks the scale. Shaq should do this actually, bro.
They called him Shaq Fu,
Again,
didn't they?
far too late. far too late. Shaq and Jeremy Lin?
Correct.
Correct.
Just see it.
Next up, we got Trae Young.
This just don't look right.
Looks right to me.
Loki?
Looks odd.
Loki, this can kind of work.
I don't know.
I actually kind of like this. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10.
Oh, you want to see Trae with the fro? It works. It balances out his head.
It does. It does. I like this.
I think it lessens his quickness, if you ask me. Too much hair on his head may be a disservice to his game. I
gonna
think he's
slow him
perfect
down.
as he is right now.
He's less aerodynamic.
Exactly. I'm thinking about his acceleration, his ability to blow by players.
It's gonna be like running with a parachute behind you, but his hair is blocking him in the
I
wind.
think this makes him worse.
All right, I'm going 8 out of 10, and I'm guessing that this is obviously this is Jared Allen.
This is Jared Allen's
This is
afro.
Jared Allen, yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it looks fine.
It's one of the better ones we've seen.
Definitely.
100%.
We got Tyrese Halliburton. All you can do is laugh.
Because it's like you didn't just put the hair on Tyrese Halliburton, you put that big old forehead on him too.
Hey, if Tyrese Halliburton had the power of the Brunson noggin, if he had Brunson Dome to his name, he would be unstoppable.
Bro, he looks just so different. Like, he looks like Rich the Kid or something like that, bro. Yeah. Who's the other dude?
Wait,
Like,
this is-
who's this
this-
duo guy? I forgot the other dude. Damn.
what's his name? Dexter?
Dexter! Yeah! Dexter! Yeah, he was like Dexter.
Fucking famous Dex. Piece of shit. I mean, it doesn't look bad, though.
It doesn't look bad.
It could happen in this day and age. I'm going 7 out of 10. Obviously, it's Tyrese and Jalen Brunson.
Ultimate point guard. You combine those two?
Oh my God. This is,
Ultimate point guard.
is this just like
Luka Doncic.
Shea with passing?
Yeah, I guess so.
damn.
Yeah. No, this works. I give this a 9. I think this wouldn't be a bad idea for Tyrese.
He looks like a real person for sure.
Well, I hope he looks like a real person. He is a real person.
I give this an 8.
Okay.
Looks like Trevor Ariza. Holy shit. I just
We got
realized
Paolo Banchero.
that. Oh my God. I know he has a throwback type game. I know he likes to pound the ball.
No, don't do him like this. Don't do him like this.
And his ear gone bad too. Oh Lord.
No, this is a substitute teacher.
God damn, this is Nate Thurman.
World be free. Collaboration. This is definitely Nick Thurman.
Yeah.
Why I gotta do my guy like
Thurman. And he has no facial hair too. That's what makes it worse.
The blank expression on his face looks like he got his head shaved as a punishment from his mom. Like he was bad at school. They shaved off his braids.
Paolo, I'm
It
sorry.
looks like humiliation.
They should have
bro.
never
You're
did
right.
you like this, Paolo. I'm
They
sorry.
sent to the military academy.
His face of pure despair, bro. He knows it's over. He knows it's over.
He looks like he broke the fourth wall. He knows he's bald.
No hope.
man.
He's not returning back to his prior form, bro. It's
No,
over.
for real. Listen, if he doesn't start making jump shots, we might have to do this. We might have to do this as motivation.
10 out of 10. I like it.
Oh man, this is the 10.
I don't even care whose hair this is. Whose baldness is this?
Come on, whoever you watch the bald head. I don't know. I just made him bald. But that's the end of that.
Oh,
my
shit,
God.
I'm crying.
Next thing we're going to do. We were talking about Zion a lot in this ranking. We're going to do a 5-level game with Zion Williamson. I'm going to name you some NBA players. You let me know who you would rather have, them or Zion Williamson.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's test on his levels. Level 1, Zion Williamson or Julius Randle?
I'll take Zion Williamson.
Julius Randle has been cooking as of late.
They're 10-0 in their last 10 games with them.
Tough.
With that being said, if they had Zion, they would also be 10-0 in those 10 games.
Yeah, exactly.
This one's easy. We'll go Zion. Shout out Julius, though. Proving people wrong
He's
to
been
some
hooping.
degree. It's a crazy picture. Level 2, Alperen Sengun.
You should have had these switched.
Do you think Julius is better than Sengun?
Nah.
Either way, I'm going Zion again.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's Zion
hey.
and Zion no matter what.
Listen, in a good situation.
Shout out Sengun. The Rockets are having a great year. I couldn't imagine watching Zion Williamson play next to all those guys out there. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Amen Thompson throwing lobs
To Zion
Dude, that's
oh,
the most athletic team of all time.
oh my God.
Jalen Green, 2 along in that.
So much jumping, so much just leaping ability.
Yeah.
Verticality. It would be wonderful.
It's amazing. We'll
Okay.
go Zion.
Level 3, Paolo Banchero. Now we have a debate.
This is close.
Let's know who's better today.
Better at
Today.
basketball.
Better at basketball.
It's Zion Williamson. Today.
Some people would argue against that, but as soon as Paolo Banchero has a league average true shooting for 40 games in a row, we can give it to him. But for now,
Zion
Who's
understands his strength, bro. He knows what he's better at. He knows how to get to his spots a lot quicker, more willing of a passer and all that.
if Paolo had the downhill like desire that Zion has,
Different
it'd be a
conversation,
different
probably.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he can take his jumpers. I need him to make more of them before I give him over Zion. I think.
I agree.
Paolo's not playing. You know what? We'll go Zion. Zion's playing some of the best basketball of his career. In this moment, Zion is playing better, so I will take Zion right now.
At least until the next injury, we're going Zion Williamson.
I agree.
But that one's close. Level 4, Ja Morant.
Ooh.
Quintessential debate. Been a debate for 5 years. Where do you currently stand?
At this moment in time, Zion again is playing better basketball.
They both don't play, but whenever they are playing, Zion is producing a little bit more. I will go with Zion in this moment today.
This one's tough. I understand if you want to go towards Jacques, who's more reliable, which he's not even that reliable. But if you want to, like, it's versus Zion, so it's a low bar. I've always been a Zion guy. I think he's better at most aspects of the game. I'm willing to deal with the downside. He might get hurt again. Give me
It's
Zion.
so interesting. They're both flawed in very similar ways too.
Yeah.
I'm still leaning Zion.
They're both slashers. One's a bigger, faster, stronger slasher. Give me Zion Williamson.
exactly.
Level 5, Anthony Davis.
I'm going 80. I'm going 80. I understand he got hurt in his first game as a Maverick. I don't care.
Quite unfortunate.
I don't care. He put up 32 and 15, whatever. I don't care what he put up. It was amazing.
But look at that smile. You'd say no to that?
Instantly. If Anthony Davis is the other option, yes. I'm taking Anthony
Anthony
Davis.
Davis is going to wipe that smile off his goddamn face. I'll tell you that. That defense is a big difference. Zion is amazing offensively, very average defensively. We're going with a two-way player. We're going with Anthony Davis.
I can't turn that.
You just think
smile
Zion's
down.
hotter? That has nothing to do with this.
Whoa! I'm not saying.
You
none
saw
of
how
that.
ripped he is now. You saw the
I ain't
2% body
saying none
fat.
of that.
It
I
makes
ain't
you
saying
feel a certain
none
type of
that.
way.
I ain't saying none of that. All right. To
2%
avoid those
body fat?
allegations,
I made that up. I don't know.
we'd be dead. I'm in AD.
How do they calculate percentage of body fat? I've never known.
I don't know.
Like, what do they measure to know the percentage of your body fat? Is that a made up stat? Like, do people really know what percentage they are?
They do know.
But how? Is it like estimated on like your waistline or something?
You have like
No, estimate on your like.
you have
your
like lean
muscle
body
mass.
lean body mass. That-
How do you know that though? Like, how do you weigh that?
You have like there's like official machines like
There's like a DEXA scan. That's
yeah.
what it's called.
Hmm.
It like does insane tests on your body. I have no idea what.
I've never
the
known.
science.
and like the easier version you can like stand on the machine and they'll send like electric like shock waves and then depending on like what they get back they can determine how much like lean body mass is in you and then how much is like
They send electric shock waves. That's
not,
interesting.
you're not getting electrocuted.
I know
but,
what you mean.
like,
I know what you mean. I get it. I know. I didn't know that's how it worked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting stuff.
All right. Well, next thing we're gonna do something we haven't done in quite a while. Something we should do every time not every time in person because we're gonna
More often, though.
Pretty soon we'll be in person all the time. Spoiler alert. This might be the next time you see us here. It might be for good. Let's play the imposter game.
Okay.
You guys know how this works. We haven't done it in quite a while. I'm gonna have right now. My girlfriend's gonna text us. She's gonna text two of us, an NBA player, and one of us she's gonna text imposter. Our job is to take turns saying something about that player, and we have to figure out who the imposter is, who doesn't actually know who they're talking about, who's making shit up.
Okay.
And you guys have seen us do this before. It's been a while, but I don't know. Usually we're pretty bad at it. Usually it goes pretty terribly, and we know who the imposter is right away. We shoot our load too fast, and immediately we know. So hopefully we do better this time. Y'all got your text?
Let's do
Come
it.
on.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'll start off. Wait, I forgot. Do we ask a question or do we say?
You just say a trait. You say a trait of the guy.
Okay. All-star. This player is an all-star.
Okay. Fuck. Okay.
Hard to decide what to
All-Stars.
say up first to not give
Yeah.
away too much. You don't want to give away too much. I struggle too because I don't want to like. Usually when we do this, you can't immediately jump to like a defining characteristic because then it makes it too obvious. That's our problem. So you got to be vague.
Okay.
Maybe all-star's too specific. I don't know.
Explosive.
Versatile.
I said we got to be vague, and you got extremely vague. Okay. Winning player. Conducive to winning.
Okay. Shooter.
Black.
Brother, what are we talking
We're
about?
playing
right
the
now?
numbers game here. I think we'd say has aura. I think that's fair.
Okay. White teeth. You got great pearly
Is
whites.
there,
Great
is there-
smile.
is there anybody that eliminates? Like, is there anybody in the league you're like, hell no?
I don't want to say names, but I could say
All right,
names.
all right.
White teeth is ridiculous.
It's the truth.
I just hate that.
It's the truth,
I
bro.
hate that. No.
Got
Fair
pearly
enough.
whites on them.
No. If you're gonna say white teeth, you gotta have to say like veneers or something. call somebody out.
Colin, would say what
White
you mean.
teeth, bro.
White teeth.
They are nice white teeth. Some of the best in the league.
Okay.
Athletic.
Okay. White teeth feels more along the lines. I feel like I'm noticing something. Multiple haircuts.
Beard.
He does. Okay. He does have a beard. Many players do.
Elite.
Just elite. He's just elite. So I have never seen a more guilty imposter in my motherfucking life. You are the imposter.
I was thinking about a trait to put after it, and I just got frozen. So I was just like, "Yeah, man, they're good."
Elite.
Elite.
He's an elite that nodded.
Who was it, man? Who was it?
The player was Jaylen Brown.
And I had no idea. Shout out to your smile, Jaylen Brown. Keep going. Pearly whites are perfect.
Yeah, so you weren't the imposter. You knew it was Jaylen Brown. I mean, Jaylen Brown does have some pearly whites, so I guess that makes sense.
You threw me off because you said aura.
I think Jaylen Brown has aura.
He has more than Tatum for sure.
Yes, I've just never thought about Jaylen Brown having like in those combos.
He's referred to as like one of the hotter players in the league. He has aura. I think I've seen lists of like handsome players. He's high up there.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that was hilarious. We're gonna play one more match. I'm having round 2 of texts are being sent right now as we speak. I'm never gonna forget that.
Yeah.
Elite. Let me know when you guys get your text.
Top tier. All right. I'm ready to continue when you guys are.
All right, you can go first this time, Mo. You can start off with us. We'll rotate around. Let's guess who the imposter is. Hopefully, it's better this time.
All right.
Who you going with?
Shooting sleeve.
Shooting sleeve. Okay.
Shooter.
Can I say aura again? Is that fair?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, aura.
Okay.
Having or not having aura is a good place to start.
Yeah, I agree. Was traded
At some point. Okay.
at some point.
A lot of players are.
Black.
Why did you guys get so much of that? Are you unsure if he is or not?
Nah, no reason. I'm trying to process some things right now.
What are you trying to process? Tell us.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
Black. Elite.
More offensive value than defensive.
Okay. I will say good finisher.
Why are you staring at me like that?
He's
staring at
for his life.
Leader.
Leader.
Okay.
Okay. Positional size.
The fuck does that mean?
Like, like, I guess like the position. He's big. I don't know, like for his size, for his position. I don't want to say large, but like positionally.
Okay. I will say good handles.
I hate y'all so much.
Lie again.
This man's struggling.
I triple dog dare you.
Tough.
Bro, what is he talking about right now?
I don't know,
Get out of
I
here.
can't tell what he thinks from that.
He don't know nothing right now, bro. He said light skin. No, you said black. Then you went ahead and said fucking
Tough.
black. What are we talking about right now?
Are you ready to call him the imposter? Are you accusing him of something?
I'm ready to shoot my load.
Wait, no.
Hey, you!
No, one more round.
You ready to shoot your load?
Let's shoot our
I'm
load
ready
together.
to explode.
Stop.
All over you! Liar!
Y'all done killed the wrong man.
I don't know who the fuck we're talking about. I was saying bullshit.
You double.
I said positional size. Who is it?
Jalen Brunson.
Are you stupid? He does not have positional size.
When you said positional size, I'm like, what do you mean by that? Like
And this
he
is, and that's why I was stuck because you said was traded. He was never traded.
he was traded.
No, he wasn't.
He left in free agency.
Oh, you're
And
right.
so he said that, and so I thought he was the imposter, but you said positional size, and I was like, yo, what is going on here? Right? One of y'all is lying, but both of y'all said something incorrect.
Wow.
So I had no idea what was going on.
Nah, my misinformation is crazy.
Was traded. It's hilarious.
Damn, I forget he wasn't traded,
But
bro.
then when you trying to call me out, you said light skin, so I was like, it's probably him. That's why I wanted to go one more round.
I knew it was me, so I was like, hell yeah, let's vote.
Yeah, nah, I baited on that one.
Masterfully.
I baited on that one. Tough.
Okay. Last thing we're gonna do.
Come on, man.
It's so hard when you're the imposter. I hate being the imposter.
It's awful. It's the worst.
I hate being the imposter. I was like, Girthy. Ironically, I would have been better off saying Girthy.
Yeah.
That would have done good for me. Does Jalen Brunson have aura? I guess so.
Yeah, he does.
Shout out the aura Hail Mary to start. Okay. I'm going to name an NBA player. Varying levels, star players. You let me know the most underrated part of their game. Something they do well that's underappreciated by the masses.
Okay, let's do it.
First off, let's start with the interesting one. Steph Curry.
Something underrated about his game,
His lungs.
His
Yes.
stamina. That motherfucker can run and run and run.
This man is a marathon runner. Every single night he runs around. Nobody can keep up with him. It's 100% the most underrated part about
And
his
because
game.
of that, his playmaking is underrated because some people think he's not a point guard. That dumbass narrative. Because his playmaking is running around off ball and getting everybody open because all five players are staring at him, praying he doesn't get open.
Something that I'll say that doesn't get talked about enough is he is the most pocket full of sunshine NBA player ever.
Good leader.
He doesn't get that shit at all, bro. He's nothing but good vibes all the time. Don't get into arguments.
Well, he literally
People
almost
try to
cried on the
beef with
court
him.
last year whenever when Draymond got ejected. He was like, "Oh my God, no, not again."
And that's a testament to the sunshine levels.
Exactly.
Draymond was so disastrous, he took away sunshine from Mr. Sunshine.
That's just generational disaster class by Draymond right there.
I bet he apologized.
But in
I bet
general-
he's like, I'll never touch your sunshine ever again.
I bet you he didn't.
Yeah, no, I'm neither here nor there. This is what interesting what you guys say about this one. Nikola Jokic.
Aura. He doesn't give a fuck, bro. He's just so like, yeah, it is what it is. Just doesn't
The
care.
attitude is underrated.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
very even keeled because of that. Actually, no, he rages sometimes.
He's just very like stoic.
Maybe he permanently injured somebody's neck because he's so unstoic. But neither here nor there.
You talking about that right now?
I think his offensive rebounding is underrated. People don't realize that he has like the best touch of anybody down low, and also if he misses, he can probably get his board and keep going back up with that elite touch. That makes him one of the most dominant interior scorers like ever, and that's not something that he gets a label of.
Do people think of him as tough?
I don't know, but he gets fucking hacked. He
That's
gets
what I'm saying.
whacked.
If you look at his arms, there's cuts and scratches, and he's the only player that like proudly wears that all the time.
Yeah.
I do think he is like, people don't think of him as like tough in that
Just
way.
say it.
He's tough.
Built different.
He's
He
a human
is.
shield, bro. It's him and Steph when it comes to scratches all over your body.
He's like Big Hero 6, where he gets like hit and just boom, he just absorbs it. That big old body.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum.
Oh, easily his passing.
Yeah, passing.
Easily his passing.
I think it's probably that he can defend centers like very well. Like the fact that you can have this like small forward that can play 3 through 5 and switch on to 1s and 2s. Like his defensive versatility is insane. And I think people think he's a good defender, but he's like one of the more valuable defenders in the league.
This is why he has no aura. If you ask me, I'm gonna say rebounding. He's one of the best rebounders at his position.
That's true. That is
Maybe
true.
the best.
He is a
The
really
most
good
underrated
rebounder.
parts of Jason Tatum is that he's amazing at all the role player stuff that most stars aren't willing to do. And that's why people don't value him enough, because that shit matters.
Rebounding.
You're a top 5 player to me.
Yeah, he's top 5. He's top 5.
Yeah, he's 5th. Exactly. Low key this year.
Listen, with and without a cut, he's top 5.
This season, he's played better than the guy on my team. I'll say that. Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson.
It's hard because a lot of his skills are recognized because the skills are
They're
insane.
very loud.
So what goes under the radar? His clutchness. I think this year people are starting to notice.
Still,
really?
Maybe. Is he the favorite to win Clutch Player of the Year? He should be.
he
should be, yeah.
100%.
Okay, he needs to win Clutch Player of the Year, and I think some people still disrespect him a little bit. He is just late game terrifying. He's gonna make the right play and get to his spot every single time.
I think he has top 10 handles in the NBA.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And
No
no
one talks
one
about
really
that.
talks about that. Like his snatchbacks, ridiculous.
That's a good answer.
I'll go with handles. That's good. Yeah.
When people say handles, they think about the Kyries of the world. I don't know. You could say not Paul George, but Darius Garlands of the world. They don't really throw Jalen Brunson into those conversations at all for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I think his ability at buckets is outshining everything.
His balance is crazy.
Ooh, that's a great
his
one.
balance. And because to be able to be that herky jerky and to have that big of a head is crazy. And so like
The gravity alone is hard to compensate for.
to be going like this and still be able to lock in on the basket.
Oh, that's how he does it?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's crazy.
You don't have the hang time though, so it looks different.
And yeah. But yeah, his balance is
Hang time
ridiculous.
plus big head, that's a lot of gravitational pull flinging in every direction.
He does the impossible. That's why
That's
he's
a strong neck.
the head of the table.
Hey, maybe his neck is the most underrated part of his game.
He has to take Dramamine before every single game.
Strong.
Jalen, we love you.
Come on the show, man.
Please.
LeBron James. What's underrated about the GOAT?
This season and specifically since Luka and like right before Luka came onto the team, his defense.
And when Luka got traded for, they're like, there's only one ball, they won't fit. So clearly his off-ball game is extremely underrated. And you know what it is also? His mid-range scoring is underrated. I think people view that as like when you compare him to Jordan.
His fadeaway has been
For a long time, it's been like just as good, but people probably view that as a big thing that like Jordan and Kobe do a lot better. LeBron is like just as amazing at that shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say his 3-point shooting, bro.
Yeah.
Like legitimate 40% 3-point shooter over the last few years of his career. It's insane.
Maybe everything is underrated about him.
This is why he's my sunshine. This is why he is the chosen one, the glorious king, the one and only 6'8", 250, LeBron Ramon James.
And we're ducking around the real topic conversation here. The most underrated part is
His leadership.
he's a father.
That's what I'm saying. His leadership. He stands up for his own.
Not only a father, a philanthropist. He helps the community. He be in these streets.
Listen, it doesn't matter the situation. He will step up and he will challenge anybody who's going after his team and his teammates or his son
True. You got it right there.
in any situation.
Kobe Bryant.
I don't know. I feel like everything is like glorified with Kobe. I can't think of
Hard to say underrated because he's like extremely appreciated. So
yeah,
like, it's hard
every
to say.
aspect of his game is
Low key, his passing, his ability to pass is underrated.
That's so anti-Kobe.
His ability to pass. Now, his willingness to pass, that is properly rated. But he could pass the ball. He just chose not to. Which you can say whatever about his mentality or about whatever, but he could do it.
All right.
If there was anything that's underrated, it would be that.
I don't know, bruh.
All right.
Yeah.
Man, put Kobe today, let him run a heliocentric offense. He'll be out here. 7 assists, 8 assists a game. Minimum.
I struggle to imagine 8, but he could have like a Shea type season. Shea has a 6, but he's still a good playmaker.
Yeah,
Eight's a bit much. The mentality's not going to be that much different.
He can get 8.
I mean, he can. Will he? No, I don't think. I think he'd be much closer to Shea, like 32 and 6.
I agree.
Which is, the MVP, so I'm not exactly saying he'd be bad.
He'd average 36 and 8.
All
All
right.
right.
Jesus Christ.
Come on.
Joel Embiid.
Y'all got it.
Underrated. He's one of the best drop coverage defenders I've ever seen. His ability to like back up and play the big man while also containing the driver and like specifically break up passes on the roll, fantastic.
He knows how to get low, bro. He has a wagon in the back that helps him stabilize
What?
all that motion in the front. He is fantastic when it comes to that, bro.
What?
Yes. He has great stabilization.
I'm not talking about this, man. This guy's...
He wears extra padding always because he
Stop,
has to
stop.
fall on his butt instead of fall on his
What are we
leg.
talking about?
Devin Booker.
Basketball.
It's still his off ball. It's still his off ball movement.
Second best off-ball
Easily.
scoring guard besides Curry. I wish his team was in a situation where they could fucking use it and he didn't have to be the point guard because they wanted to trade for Bradley Beal. So I can't wait till he gets traded and he can run around off ball again and get back to being extremely versatile.
It's like no one talks about him anymore, bro. He's just a foregone conclusion in the NBA season.
Because he's in hell. He's playing in the worst situation ever. They add Mike Budenholzer, it gets worse. Bol has 2 good games, and we're like, that's the savior. Nick Richards has 2 good games, that's the savior. We're grasping for straws. Free Devin Booker.
Please.
Send him to Houston.
Any other underrated parts of his game?
Has his... Was Devin Booker ever... Is he still top 5 or in the league?
I don't know about top 5. But
Top
he
5
has
roster?
it.
Fair. Allow it. I will allow it. I will allow it.
Last but I will allow it. Giannis.
His memes are generational.
Stop it.
I will say that.
They're not underrated, though.
They're
talked
not
about.
underrated. Still, it's probably still his passing.
I think it's his ball handling. I think he, like, whatever you consider a big man, is he the greatest ball handling big man of all time? Is there taking in transition, half court playmaking, isolation scoring, can run inverted pick and rolls? How many better big man dribblers are there?
It's crazy
Like
because
6'11 and higher.
I can't even say he's a great ball handler in transition because it takes him one dribble to get to half court.
The
So it's
shit's
But that
easy.
makes you great, don't
you
it?
know,
Yeah.
like
He's the best ball handler. I didn't say he has the best dribble packages, but effective ball handling. He might be the most
I think it might
versatile.
be that. I like that a lot.
Who else is in the conversation of best ball handling 6'11 or higher? I mean, you want to consider Kevin Durant that tall, but, he's not listed that high. He refuses to admit he's that tall, so I guess we'll disqualify him.
It might be Giannis.
all right, Giannis, you got it.
I mean,
Joel Embiid also has a handle, but it's a little less
different.
mobility.
Yeah. it's
His
different.
dribble combos are better, but the mobility of Giannis is different.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go with Giannis. Ball handling ability.
Ball handlers.
Goat, big man ball handler. Look at that.
Shout out to you.
Fear the deer.
And with that being said, that's the end of this episode. If people are still here, they should comment. I'm not going to say that. Well, Donovan, what should they comment?
Nah, say it.
Shout out Jalen Brunson's neck.